fucking dead. When the alarm clock goes off, it's dead. You ever get the alarm clock going off, you don't know where the fuck you are. You're like, what the fuck?
Well, that must happen to you with you being on the road so much.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and look, and it's not the pictures on your wall. That's how you could, you know what I'm saying? It's rough, but I'm home for 2 weeks. Had a good time yesterday. Met with Jessica. She's going to expedite the book. It was fucking great. I broke down while I was talking to her because I wanted to understand what I wanted this book to be, basically. You know, I want people to feel what I felt till I was 27, you know, because that's what I know people feel in general. What I felt was nothing different from what people feel, you know. When you're confused, you want to do something with your life, you got no help, you know, you don't even know what the fuck you want to do. That's the sad thing.
Yeah.
When you're at that age where you don't even know what the fuck you do, and you're scared to think about it for yourself, you know, and then it gets clearer. So I want to draw that picture. I really want to get that picture written well because I want people to read that and go, Jesus fucking Christ, you know what I'm saying? If this is what he was going through, I ain't going through dick. I ain't going through shit. You know, we always think of what we're going through as like the worst thing. People go through shit every fucking day, you know, and people go through worse shit. You know, what are those fucking kidnapped girls going through? You know, those poor fucking African girls with flies on them, smelling shit on a farm right now. And you're worried about you don't have the right nail color for your fucking toenails, you know. Sometimes you don't really put in perspective how lucky we are, you know, so. That's it. What's up with you, cocksucker? Went to jiu-jitsu yesterday?
You did? Wow.
Yeah, I went to jiu-jitsu. I took I'll tell you, man, and it's hard to believe, I took Shroom Tech yesterday, and I went to jiu-jitsu. First off, today I feel fucking great. We were learning a move yesterday where it was like a guard retention, but my top leg goes over instead of the leg slicing, and I had to throw like 1,000 roundhouse kicks. We were drilling it, and I feel fucking great today. But while I was there, before I left, there was only 2 guys my size. One guy was sore from the night before, so I rolled with one guy. And 5 minutes was like nothing. I wasn't even fucking breathing heavy. I didn't have to tap, nothing. My air was fine. After that, I did a couple more hip escapes. It's amazing how much, you know, some guy wrote today, maybe a nice guy, he goes, the vapors for you are almost as bad as the weed. I tell you what isn't as bad as the weed is the smoke. There's no more smoke coming into my lungs. And I'm going to tell you something right now. With all the little things I do, I knew that with the epileptical, with the fucking jiu-jitsu, and with the kettlebells on the timer, my cardio would increase and my breathing would get better. But I'll tell you what, guys, it didn't. And I knew that there was something going on. Either there was a vitamin I was deficient at, either there was one of my valves and my heart was fucked up, or I had to stop smoking. So I said, let me do the easiest one without getting the worst bad news. Let me stop smoking. And guys, the cardio has gone up, you know, 30, 40%. You know, I'm not dying no more. I walk up the stairs now and I'm not fucking huffing and puffing just on a regular day. So it wasn't the vapor or anything, it was the smoke. The smoke was damaging my fucking lungs. 3, 4, 5 fucking years ago, I got a lung x-ray and they told me I had the beginnings of emphysema. You could hear it. So what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? So you have to do something.
Yeah.
I want to live. I want to be around. I want to be able to go to the park with Mercy, you know, as you saw last night. At fucking 8:30, it never ends, and she's in bed by 8 o'clock every night.
That's what surprised she was there.
At 20 to 9, she was fucking dancing to
At
Wally
9?
Kazam. At 9, she was dancing to Wally Kazam, and Lee was like, "What the fuck is going on?" There was people in the house. She's fucking moving. It's really amazing, huh, Lee?
Yeah, it was crazy. And you're finally doing jiu-jitsu with your knee because I know your knee is kind of fucking hurting you right now.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. My knee hurts, but what are my options? To sit in the house and milk and cry? So what I did was I found a way to work out without it fucking killing me. So I'll stretch it out real well, I'll put a brace on it, and then when I get home, I elevate it. Last night I took 2 Aleve, you know, when I got home, 1 Aleve to loosen the pain a little bit. What is this, a fucking earthquake again? That's all I need. I thought there was one last night. And I go every other day. Yesterday I had nothing. And I just couldn't blow off another John Evan class, you know, on a Tuesday, because usually I work out on Monday, so my Tuesday, my knee's kind of swollen. I go to fucking acupuncture. I went yesterday, and it was one of the best classes I went to. I laughed, you know, I huffed and puffed, I sweat. I went home, my gi was fucking wet. Once my gi is wet, that's what I go for. That's what I strive for my underwear being wet. I strive for my knee pads being sweaty. Then I know I sweat everywhere, you know, when you have somebody on top of you sweating. But when I got home yesterday, I got bad news. I got a Facebook message from a girl in the doctor's office I'm very tight with. And she told me my knee was no bueno to call for an appointment ASAP because he wasn't in the office the rest of the week. So I called and made an appointment for Tuesday at 1. So let's see what really is going on with my knee. But you know what? I knew I needed something. Something is not right in there. I'm no doctor to tell you what's in there. It could be a variation of things. I'm walking. I've learned to deal with it. You learn to deal with it, you know. And you know that the more you sit down, when you have an injury like that, the more you sit and think about it, the worse it gets. And the best thing you can do is to give that injury blood. The more blood you give that injury to heal, you know, just a little stretch, just a little something that'll heal that injury. And I really believe that. You know, I was watching the UFC Countdown with Robbie Lawler, and he fought the Beard on a Saturday night for the championship, and that Monday he went to work out. And he said, I went to work out to get some blood in the muscles to relieve the soreness and the.
Jesus.
And sometimes it feels my wrist was hurting Sunday and Monday. I went to jiu-jitsu yesterday. It doesn't hurt as much today. You give it blood. You exercise it. You know, there comes a point where you know what's excessive pain or it's too much, and you have to stop with this. Some things sometimes they're just stiff because the muscle around it hard. You got to break that fucking seal and put some blood in that motherfucker, cocksucker. And that was it, my brother. That was it was a really I wrote some jokes. I played with, you know, when I come home on these weekends, I really enjoy them. I enjoy playing with Mercy and watching cartoons, and she loses her mind when fucking Wally Kazam comes on, doesn't she? She giggles by herself. She's been giggling over Wally Kazam by herself for 2 months. I mean, out loud. Me and my wife look at each other like, fucking Wally's that funny, but Wally is fucking funny. The little bird on there, it's fucking hilarious, that show. And the problem with Wally Kazam is there's only a couple fucking episodes, so she watches repeats. They only squeeze out like one episode every 2 fucking weeks. Like last week was Victor the fucking Villain. You know how many times I've watched Victor the fucking Villain since last week? I know it by fucking memory. She sits there looking at me like it's the first time every time, which is very, you know, it's great to see that. It's like the first time she hears a song.
That's so funny.
So, what the fuck, Lee?
I don't know. The vapor's got to me.
Sure, that's what they're supposed to do. I'm supposed to give you a little blood to your fucking blood vessels, to your fucking brain, cocksucker. What do you got planned today? You gonna do some jumping jacks today?
Yeah, I'm looking at a couple apartments after this, and then Paula is coming over. But we've been talking. She just started working out, so we're gonna go take a couple walks together and start doing that together. And
what
are we gonna do?
What are you gonna work out at today?
Just go on some walks. No, I mean she's been doing a DVD tape, so she's gonna bring it. Maybe we'll try it out. Who knows?
Absolutely. You're gonna have to wait. You give her the high hard one. You get that monkey nice and sweaty.
Oh my!
You know what I'm saying?
She's been studying
like a savage.
She's been studying for 2 months, so it's been like maybe once a week I'll see her. So this weekend's gonna be fun.
You're gonna see her all weekend?
Yeah.
It's over. You're breaking out the robes. You're gonna rub her feet. You're gonna throw grapes.
I'm eventually gonna have to get a robe, I guess.
You're gonna, dog. You can't sit there in your underwear and you're fucking with no shirt on. It's embarrassing. If you put a robe on, you look fucking distinguished, like fucking Humphrey Bogart. You want to look like some mook, or you want to look like Humphrey Bogart?
I guess I want to look like Humphrey Bogart.
Okay, then fucking get the robe. You put your name on it like a Jewish star. You get a couple of them, so when you travel, people see the pride you have.
What am I going to do? Walk around with it on at the airport?
Fuck it. Why not? If that's what it calls for. You know what I'm saying? Who walks around with a robe? Why be like everybody else? Be original.
Will you walk around too?
Why not?
Cuban flag on it.
Cuban flag, a picture of a fucking dick upside down, something just to let these fucking people know who's running shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my! So it's pretty crazy that the book is coming together because I mean, when you think about it, you've been working on it for years.
Fucking years. Trying to figure out.
We had the first guy call in a while ago.
Yeah, figure out what's important and what's not important. It's you know, I don't want to tell the stories that people know already. I want to tell more of people of my state of mind. You know, and. It was fear. It was just fear. You know, you hit it on the head. You said you got to open up the chapter with that story after you got thrown out of the benders, walking down the hill to the Runnies. You know what I was thinking? Like, this is not going to work. This is my second home that I'm living in. You know, I'm a senior in high school. I'm a junior in high school. You know, I'm working. I made every fucking mistake at that level. You know, I just did every stupid kid mistake there is, you know.
Do you think the way the childhood you had made it easier for you not to judge people, because like thinking about it, just even going to jail, it's easy for me to like. I think I judge a lot, like this kid who I went to high school with who's been in and out of jail, and then like you start judging him, and like you really shouldn't. But I mean, it's the easiest. It's kind of like the easiest thing to do is complain.
Well, when you judge, you're giving up. That's what you're doing. You're giving up on somebody. Listen, man. Encouragement is the biggest thing you give somebody. You know, Sam Tripoli put out a CD last night.
Oh, cool.
And he put it out yesterday. It's number 3 right now. And I talked to him yesterday, you know, and he called and he was very humble. He goes, "Can you help me out? Can you tweet it?" And it's funny how I'm really proud of Sam Tripoli. I really am in my heart, guys. I really fucking am. I still remember the night Sam walked into the fucking comedy store. One of the biggest lessons in comedy I got was from Sam one night when he went up there. He was a young kid, and he was up there talking about doing ecstasy with Chinese people and shit. and these fucking people were old, and they weren't getting them. And I'm in the back howling because of what the situation is. He's pitching it like he's a fucking Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
He's fucking pitching these jokes like he's a Carnegie Hall, talking about ecstasy and jumping up and down the rave, and some chick sucked his dick and blah, 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 blah. And these people were fucking 90, but it was the comedy store. It was dark, so he couldn't see it. He couldn't see the audience.
Okay.
So do you understand? I've seen what Sam Tripoli's done. When you see all these people that want to come into this town and be fucking pirates. They want to be talent pirates. They want to come into this town and make this shit happen. And in 3 years, they fucking, not even 2 years, they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone, you know. And I saw this millions of fucking times. So to see somebody like Sam Tripoli come here, you know, he opened for Pablo for a while, whatever. He went on to do his own thing. Sam, you know, he's part of Death Squad. He goes to, you know, he did the podcast with Joey yesterday. He's at the store. You know, Sam's out there banging every night. I like these guys that try to contact me, and they either want to go on the road or to do the podcast or do this. I know they're doing it half-ass. They're doing everything fucking half-ass.
Right.
And in a way, I feel bad because I'm not helping them, but what would my help do? What would this fucking podcast do for them? Give them a couple things. They're going to keep doing the same habits they've been doing. When you see somebody who's out there, you know, Sam still does the fucking naughty show. Sam has a fucking podcast on Playboy. Sam has this. Sam has that. You know, and I was just really proud of him, man. And I could hear it in his voice saying, "Joey, thank you." That's encouragement. You know, I'm a firm believer that, listen, if you go up to somebody and go, "Hey, man, I have an idea. I want to rob a bank and shoot the teller in the head," don't encourage me. You know what I'm saying? Don't go, "That's a great fucking idea, Joey." But if somebody comes to you and goes, "Lee, can I talk to you about something heart to heart?" Because I know it's happened to people that listen to this podcast. "Listen, man, this fucking job I got here, it pays okay, but I'm not happy. I think I want to be a fucking printer. I think I want to go back to school and be a printer and print brochures and open up my own business." There's some people that look at you and go, "You know what? You're a 43-year-old fucking loser. What are you going to do with your life?" Those people, it's the person who looks you in the eye and goes, "Listen, bro, it's going to be rough, but I believe in you. I believe in you, man.
Yeah.
Go for it." And they give you a hug and we have a Snapple and everybody goes home. But that little thing, that's huge encouragement. Encouragement from your family, which sometimes you don't get. You know what I'm saying? Because they think they care about you. They want you to be secure. They want you to get the definite route, the high percentage career, which is going to school and getting a job. That's high percentage. Not anymore, though. Yeah. Not in this society. Not anymore. It's not guaranteed. You know, Paul is very lucky. She's going to go to law school and do this and you know, get a job. She's probably going to she's got an internship this summer which pays at the DA's office.
No, it doesn't pay. But the crazy thing is she's not guaranteed. There's someone in her law school class who's 40-something now, just because there were no jobs. But I read articles all the time how a lot of law schools, like some girl was actually suing her law school because they promised, like she felt like she didn't get the job she was supposed to get.
But was that girl going out every fucking day?
Oh, yeah.
Did she do it? Yeah. You know, I could give you the fucking horse. If you don't get on it and fucking do 90 miles an hour, what good is having a fucking horse?
Right.
You follow me? There's people that, there's people that do not know. You know, you and I are learning a valuable lesson that the gift of hustling is not a gift everybody has. Not everybody had a Sticky Charlie in their fucking life. Not everybody has those opportunities. Not everybody knows how to put those opportunities together. I was talking to Jessica yesterday, and I was talking to her about when I used to rob the gas stations. You know, how I never robbed a gas station with a fucking gun. I drove around, I saw a gas station that needed help wanted. Okay? Number one, I had a buddy who worked at a gas station. So he gave me the names of people who got fired from the gas station for stealing.
Okay.
I would take their names, and I would go into a gas station. I would give a phony address and a phony phone number to a payphone. That I would hustle. I would look around and drive around, look for fucking payphones or walk around. And then I would go into this gas station when he was busy. Most of the shifts in the gas station they're looking for are not 9 to 5. They're 4 to 12 or 12 to 8 in the morning.
Jesus.
They're dying to fill those jobs. Because guess who's working that shift until you find somebody? You. You got 3 kids, you got 2 other gas stations. You know, you got a wife, you got a girlfriend, you got to order the gas, you got to order the... You follow me?
Yeah.
So I come in, I look decent, and I go, hi, I'm looking for a job. What position are you looking for? 4 to 12. Can you start today? I knew I had them. Even though I put the name on the fucking... Even though I put the name on the application and the address and the fight phone number, I gave it to the guy. The guy told me come back at fucking 4. Even if he called the gas station and got a reference... We gave her the name to the manager. So they would call the gas station and ask for my buddy. You follow me? And my buddy would say, by the way, when you call for the reference next time, it's this such and such. We didn't even do it that way. I gave my buddy a different name. So if my buddy's name was James, I gave him Louis. I forget what the name was. So if they did call for a reference, I would always go for a job when he was working. He would give them a reference, and then they'd say, who am I speaking with? And he'd say, the owner, Lee Syatt. So, bam, I had the job and the reference. You understand me? Jesus. So now I went in
You're the whole reason there's background checks now.
Right. I went in there at 3:30. Jersey and Portland, Oregon are the only states that you have to pump gas. That's an attendant has to pump gas. So what I would do is I would go in there at 3:30, do the necessary paperwork, put my gas pumping suit on, and I would work 4 to 12. You know how many cars start coming in at 4:30?
1,000.
Thousands. And I would get a gas station that was strategically close to a turnpike. So people would have to stop in there and get fucking gas. You know, I remember getting a job out of the turnpike gas station one time. I made a fucking $1,200.
Oh, the ones that are on the gas station?
On the fucking turnpike. Like I took one of those down one time. And it was hysterical how I would go, work 3 hours, get $2,000-$3,000, and then call George or one of my other friends to just pick me up, and I tell them super that I had, or whoever, that I had to fucking go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'd get my fucking gas pumping suit off. I'd walk to the car, I'd get in the car, and I'd leave with $3,000.
Did you keep a notebook? Like, okay, I can't go to this gas station ever again. I
just knew it. I just knew it because I didn't do the gas stations in my neighborhood. You don't shit where you sleep.
Okay.
I would drive 30, 40 fucking miles. The white gas stations that I would never see again. And you don't shit where you sleep. You don't shit in your neighborhood. This is your neighborhood. You never cause a problem. And even I had that education, I still fucked up in 87 when I had the credit card at the mall in Boulder. Same thing. You never shit where you sleep. You go to the malls outside the area.
Did you ever get anxiety doing it? Like after, as you were leaving, you never anytime a siren went by, you weren't just hearing about it makes me nervous.
I was always scared. Now, walking around scared is one thing. Smoking a joint on top of fear is another.
Oh my God.
So at the end of the night, I would go to my hotel, wherever the fuck I was staying, my friend's house. I'd be high, and in the middle of the high, that thought would come into my mind that I robbed a gas station today. And I put together in my mind all the possible scenarios and how they could catch me. And my heart would beep, and I'd get scared because there's always a fuck-up. In every crime, there's a fuck-up. There's too many variables. There's too many steps. You always do something wrong. That's why the cops try to retaste your steps and grab one of those steps.
Did they not have cameras back then?
No, not like now.
Jesus.
Not like now. In those days, they probably had a camera on the register and the guy who was taking the change, but not on the gas station.
Fuck. And that's another crazy thing we were talking about last night about the money you were making and how you put the rest up your nose. So if you robbed $3,000 in a couple hours, me as the Jew be like, oh, okay, I can get an apartment. You're still living at your friend's house. You're like, okay, I have $3,000. hundreds for food.
First of all, let's say let's say I was living with George and I made $3,000. I give him $500 off the bat.
Okay.
So I had George. Anything I needed, I had George. I didn't just give him $50. I gave him a nickel. Bam, take a nickel. So that's $2,500. I'd probably buy some clothes, go for a nice steak dinner, talk some shit, and I'd buy like an 8-ball or 2.
So it'd be gone in like a day.
3 days.
Jesus. And
then I'd start all over again. Then there'd be another mind fuck. I'd go borrow $500 from a loan shark, give him 8 weeks, and then go pay the fucking 8 weeks. So it was fucking amazing. I lived my life, my heart beating every fucking minute. That's how I used to live my life. That's why when I moved to Colorado, I slept for 3 weeks straight in '93. I thought it was because I was getting acclimated. You get acclimated to the altitude, but no, it was because the stress level in my life. You know, just running. When you're running and fucking gunning like that.
Yeah, I was watching one of those jail shows, and they brought in like a homeless guy who was on drugs, and they said he was like acting up, so they put him in like a cell by himself, and they said, well, he'll be asleep, he'll sleep it off, like, and they said like that's sometimes the best sleep they get is in jail because they don't always have to be looking over their shoulder, which was crazy for me to even think about. Like the best sleep you'll get is in prison.
They don't have air conditioning. You know, they have a little cool. I mean, they maintain it cool. You're not going to sweat all fucking.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you don't have to like keep looking over your shoulder.
No, I'm just a joke. It's a joke, cocksucker.
I'm too far. I'm dialed in here, cocksucker.
Yeah, take some more vape bits. That's Jesus Christ. You need a couple vape bits to get your fucking day going. But it's just really weird how I did that for a long time and never fucking flinched, Lee. And I must have done 15 of them in fucking 3 months. 15 of those fucking things in 3 months. And they can never, you know, what are you going to fucking do, man? It was just a part of growing up. You follow me? That's what the book is going to be, you know. I mean, like I said, I want the people to understand what I went through from 79 to 85, which was fucking every emotion, every fucking fear possible. You know, it's like when you see the Godfather and Michael's about to shoot Salazzo and the fucking police captain. You know, I've always said it, when he walks out of that, before he walks out of the bathroom, there's a train stopping, screeching its brakes, but at the same time, it's him going deaf. You know, it's that screeching sound, like you just hear, like your heart and your heart, your adrenaline, everything gets to this fucking level where they just don't connect anymore. It's like an equalizer. Yeah. You know what an equalizer is? Your mind, you're about to do something bad. Your mind knows it. Your heart knows it. Your soul knows it. Your heart's fucking beating. Your adrenaline's up. You know, it's this fucking feeling. You're a hunter. You're a fucking hunter, and you're hunting a human, or you're about to do something fucking bad. You don't know what the level of height is in that.
I don't, yeah.
You have no idea. It's bigger than just me thinking about it. I get scared sometimes. Like just the level of waiting for somebody in an alley, you know, about to kicking a drug dealer's door. You know, like remember when I kicked the drug dealer's door in, I wasn't fucking turning alarm systems off or windows off. I cased the building. I knew what was going on. I cased the apartment. I knew who was walking in and out at one time, and I knew I had a short fucking window. You know, sometimes things happen so fast that you don't even have a chance to react, and they happen so fast that you have to ask yourself, what the fuck just happened? Jesus. And that's what I wanted to do. That was when I robbed something, that was the illusion. You were going to hear 2 doors kick down. Boom, boom. And I was going right for the thing, picking it up, taking it, and getting the fuck out of there. You were going to go, what the fuck just happened? You don't know how many times I did a crime where I busted a door down into a drug dealer's house, and when I walked out of that drug dealer's house, the people in the hallway were looking. I'd go into your old building, and I'd kick your fucking door down. Yeah. I'd sit outside real nice until somebody, who are you waiting for? My friend, for some reason, his phone's busy. They let me in the building, that's it. Right there, once I got on the elevator, I knew the path to your apartment. I knew the door. I knew exactly where I was going in there. I was no hesitation. I would maybe knock one time. If I didn't hear nothing, boom! I'd kick the fucking door down, go into the room, Jesus, fucking take whatever the coke was and get the fuck out of there. I wouldn't run.
Because you look suspicious?
Yeah, I would just walk out like it was just minding my own, like I was giving out votes.
Did you ever case a place and like go in and expect something and find like nothing?
Nothing.
What's that feel like?
Like a fucking jack off.
Jesus.
But because I was dealing with drug dealers, I always knew when they were picking up. You know, like I would buy coke from you for a month, and you would tell me, man, I'm waiting for my guy. He hasn't dropped off anything. You know, he's going to drop off a fucking kilo in an hour. You got a fucking kilo. Even if you got 20 customers, I know I'm going to get a half a kilo the next day. We'll sit out there on a roof 2 miles, not even a block away, with fucking binoculars, wait for you to leave. You know, I love these, you know, and there's little things that drug dealers did. You know, that I know they're not going to stick to their schedule. They pick up a girl. That's it. Their schedule's done. Their apartment's wide open.
Okay.
There's so many things, you know, that's why you love the drug dealer that goes out and gets high. That's the one you attack. Okay. The weakest out of all of them. You don't attack the drug dealer that's always thinking that. You attack the guy that does his product.
Okay.
So he could be out and he could stay out for fucking a day. You got a day to ransack his fucking place. There was just so many.
Did you ever like have like a girlfriend and be like, okay, go to a bar. I know he's at this bar. Distract him. Give me some time.
I didn't have a girlfriend, but I knew we had friends. It was funny you mentioned that. I was telling Jessica yesterday that in '85 I saw this girl that I used to hang out with. Never slept with her. She was a girlfriend of a dear friend of mine, but she had more balls than he did. I had done some crimes with him. Yeah. But he was still like legit, like kind of. She wanted to make money. She liked taking motherfuckers down. Jesus. So if I said to her, hey, find out what this guy's doing or whatever, I could give her like a week and a half. It was funny because yesterday I was having a conversation about a gentleman named Tommy Kenny. Tommy Kenny was somebody I bumped into later on in my life. I bumped into him and I became dear friends with him. Maybe like in 81 and a half, I became friends with Tommy Kenny through the DiLorenzo's. Tommy Kenny was an Irish gangster over in the city. He ran with the Westies. He was older now. Mm-hmm. He owned a few businesses and whatnot. But Tommy knew people and he knew thieves. And before I went to Colorado, I became friends with him because I would always bring jewelry over to his friend in bulk. I was getting jewelry in bulk in those days, and I would bring it to his friend to fence. Okay. You know, so one day he asked me, he goes, you get great stuff. We were talking, blah, blah, blah. And we became friends. And he goes, you want to help me from time to time? Kenny was in on insurance crimes that everybody was in on. So he'd tell me, like, you got a job. You're going to go to a warehouse, and you're going to work as a warehouseman for a month. And just watch what time the manager goes in and out of that box. You know what I'm saying? In those days, like, he taught me so much. He taught me, like, when you break into a safe, you don't break into a safe. You take the safe home. So you go into those places with a fucking goat dolly. Yeah. And you take the safe home. Because when I'm there robbing the safe, I only got an hour. When I'm home, I got 15 hours. Eventually, I'll bust that thing and blow it up with a fucking stick of dynamite.
Do these people still exist? Like, I can't imagine, like, you meet a guy who's going to get you a job with insurance. He's going to have you go work at a warehouse. Like, are these people walking around still doing this? Jesus.
It's at a different level now. Why rob people at home on a computer right now trying to figure out how to write PayPal accounts?
That's true.
How to rob, union pensions. It's become different. But there's still old school guys like myself that this is what they do for a living. They're not going to fucking change now. You don't get worse at what you do. A criminal doesn't get worse at what he does. He gets better if he's intelligent. Okay. With me, once you go to prison, that's college. Now you start talking to people who specialize in your trade.
I was thinking, you've said that before. I was thinking about that the other day. They specialize in it, but they got caught. So isn't it like taking a bad college course?
So if I tell you to come this way, right, now you got caught going that way. Now you know you're never going to go that way again. Okay. You're going to take that path over there and go out through that door. Once you get caught, it makes you strong. It's like being a kid when your mother punishes you. Okay. You learn that you can't run that scam no more. I got to do something completely different now. So when you go to prison, now you're talking to 4 or 5 different people that are doing what you were doing. You follow me? So you get 5 different perspectives. Now it becomes Jeet Kune Do. Now it becomes 5 different styles. You follow me? You learn, when I got locked up, I'm not proud to talk about this shit, but I'll tell you one thing, that I learned a lot about cops and how they do their procedures. I learned how the feds work. I learned how the local government works. I learned how they send undercover at you. I learned what amounts they go for. I learned what the process is. A DA wants a couple of arrests to get a conviction. Okay. I can't just come to me and go, hey, you know anybody's got 2 ounces of blow? And all of a sudden I put them on to Lee, and they just buy 2 ounces and they're going to buy 2 or 3 multiple fucking deals to get a conviction. It's a stronger, so you can't fucking plea bargain. You know, I know how they show up. I know that, you know, it's funny, like when you watch shows like Miami Vice and all these other drug shows, when drug cops show up and you take a kilo out, they look at it and test it and go, this is good, pay the man. They got to do it. You know, I don't do shit with nobody who don't do something. Very seldom in my circle that I deal with people that didn't do blow, who makes them losers because the real drug dealers don't do their product. But you're not going to sell to somebody the first time 10, 20 kilos to a guy who doesn't do it.
Well, don't you think the undercover cops know that and they just do it? And
they do it. No shit. They do blow. They drink. They eat pussy. They eat ass. They carry a gun.
So don't you need?
They got to act like you to establish trust.
So don't you need a different way to establish? Like, if you're going to assume that an undercover cop knows this, don't you need another way to figure out who you're going to sell to?
No. What I'm trying to tell you is that I don't want America to think that when a cop comes up to you, it's all fucking legit and with a white suit, and that drug dealer is that stupid that he doesn't know it's an undercover fucking cop. Okay. We can spot these motherfuckers. What you do is when you see somebody, you close your eyes and you put a blue suit on them. If that fucking blue suit fits, they're a fucking cop, okay, Lee? That's how you look at it. Okay. You could tell who's in your realm and who's not in your realm.
Jesus.
When I was doing all that shit, knock on wood, I never sold to an undercover cop.
Really?
And I spotted them a mile away because at my mother's bar.
Okay.
I learned from being a kid at my mother's bar, being in Harlem.
So let's run through it. I come up
First
to you.
of all, if you're a Studio City cop, you're not going to be an undercover cop in Studio City. You're going to be an undercover cop in Visalia.
Okay, we got a call coming.
All right. Who's this?
Who do you think it is?
You're a minute early, cocksucker. How are you, Rudy Moreno?
Hey, good morning, Joe Diaz.
Nothing. I'm schooling these motherfuckers on crime. You know how undercover cops work. Like, if a cop is an undercover cop in Studio City, he's not in Studio City. They send him to Whittier to make buys. And if a guy's a Whittier cop, they send him to Studio City so they're not shitting in their own backyard. And how, you know, on television, they show these cops that they come to you and they go, yeah, I want to buy an ounce of blow. And you just sell them the ounce of blow. They don't do a line in front of you. They don't talk to you about Carlos Santana. They don't do a shot of tequila. That's only on fucking TV. You know, I had a fucking guy tell me a story how he shot coke and heroin with an undercover cop for 9 months. That the guy was shooting right with him every fucking day. But he couldn't figure out why he couldn't get a fast and speedy trial because they had to clean the cop up. They took him a year and a half to give him a trial because they had to clean the cop up. You know, he couldn't figure it out. And then when he was sitting in there for a year and a half, his attorney goes, you're right. The stories you're talking about that cop were correct. He's cleaning up. So now, you know, when, in those situations, but, you know, I don't want America to think that undercover cops are the nicest people in the world. Vice cops, undercover cops, they get their dick sucked. They do everything alone because the only way you establish trust is if you do something. I heard about a cop stabbing a guy with a friend of mine one time. He was a cop. My friend ended up doing 6 years. Guy stabbed the cop. Who are they going to believe? Damn. The cop or my friend? You with me? Anyway, enough with the criminal talk. Rudy Moreno, one of the fathers of fucking Latino comedy, period. In L.A., in fucking Scandinavia, in Bogota. I'm going to get something out in the open right here about Rudy Moreno that I want people to know. Without Rudy, I wouldn't be where I was. The story was Rudy used to book the Brave Bull from like 96 on. The Brave Bull was a hot little club in Whittier. Not Whittier. What was it?
San Gabriel.
San Gabriel. And it had fucking 19 rooms. One room had a moose head, a fucking Mexican bull. They had a couple bitches that didn't pay their vig. I mean, it was fucking amazing. And when I got here, they said, you got to call Rudy. And I kept calling Rudy, and Rudy wouldn't fucking call me back. And one night I just showed up down there. I'm fucking Joey Diaz cocksucker. You're going to put me up. And I had to follow Tommy Slade. Remember
Tommy Slade? Who was that? The detective. That the guy that used to do the detective thing?
Yes.
You know, I like goddamn, he was 80 years old then.
Oh my God! And I remember that I went up one night and I did a set and I did great. And Matt Woods was there with Brian Dunkelman. And
right, I remember that.
Yeah, Matt
Brian
Woods.
Yeah, he went out to do American Idol.
American Idol.
Lost the... Right.
And I remember that Matt Woods came up to me and he goes, man, I remember I was going to kill Matt Woods in Denver for fucking, for picking me apart.
You want to kill him?
Oh, Rudy, you know when somebody comes up to you and asks you why you're doing comedy, you're wasting your time, you're talented, but you're not doing it right. This guy came up to me at an open mic and said to quit. He's like, he just quit because you're not committing to this. You're the funniest guy in the room, but you're not committing to this. So quit. He goes, people got to work hard at this. You show up down here, and he really hurt my feelings, Rudy. I was gonna fucking knock him out, but he wasn't lying, Rudy.
Right.
Sometimes people tell you something, they're not lying. You know, you can't fucking be mad at somebody for telling you the truth. So I walked away from him, and he walked in that night in the Brave Bull as I was on stage doing my thing, and he goes, bro, you made me very proud. I hugged him, and, you know, we were friends forever after that. But that's what happened at the Brave Bull. And then, you know, the Comedy Store pays $15. You know, everybody pays $15. And for a while there, for like a year, you would book me every weekend, as dirty as I was, in the back room where they sold tacos in the Brave Bull. Remember they had 3 or 4 different comedy shows. You would always put me in the back.
Every week they'd move the room, man.
That's when Marilyn Martinez started the war. Remember
when they had the room with the pool tables? People were playing pool. We were doing comedy.
Oh my God, I forgot about that one. And then I was there the night. Who was the fucking comic that fell in love with the transvestite? Remember, he was dating a transsexual. He was an old-time comic. And what? You ready? You're going to remember. You and me did a gig at the Brave Bull, and you paid us extra to go to some congressman's and do a benefit. So you said, as soon as you get off the stage at the Brave Bull, I'm giving you an extra $50. Come over there. And all of his show, Raul Martinez. Remember, he left.
Who was the transvestite?
Remember, he was dating a transvestite before he left.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, he was on drugs. They were doing crack or heroin or something. And he fell in love with a transvestite.
How do you remember all this shit, man?
Dog, because it was the funniest thing. Because I remember him coming up to me going, fuck.
I wonder if Raul's still alive, man.
Oh, no. He was eating a transvestite's ass. He don't live too long after that. Transvestites got a special taste in their nutsack. It's confusion.
Good Joey, you're out of your mind, man.
So,
No, I think Raul's passed. There's a lot of people that passed since then, man.
Who else passed? Oh, Vic Dunlop. Oh my God, Marilyn Martinez.
Dante Garza. I don't know if you remember Dante Garza, big heavyset cat from Texas.
Yeah, and Dante Garza.
Marilyn, of course, is the lovely Marilyn, man. Marilyn, Freddie Soto, just a lot of guys.
It was just, it's been a long time, Rudy. And now you got the Ice House, you're celebrating the 15 years.
Yeah, we've been there forever, man. Well, we were at the Ice House in '91, but just sparingly. We just, they'd give us a shot every once in a while. That's where we were working, places like the Brave Bull and shit, because the clubs weren't allowing us to come in, man. And I think Bob Fisher was one of the earlier owners that said, yeah, well, we'll give you guys a shot and see what you guys can do. And then after a while, you let one Latino in there, the rest is fucking coming. So
the Ice House is a great spot. We do a podcast there. You do your show there every Wednesday. I mean, we always work hand in hand on Wednesdays. Yeah. And it's amazing that you showcase all, you've had from George Lopez, Gabriel, Felipe. Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody's gone through there, It's just an amazing thing. We had a lot of
them through there, man,
Oh, Roseanne Barr. I mean, no. You see it on the thing, but it's just amazing, Rudy, that, first of all, I've been here 17 years. I've been your friend through all the casinos. I taught you. You'd pay me with a check. I'd fucking be pissed at you because I needed it for coke money. I remember one night you had an Irish pub.
An Irish pub?
In front of a porn place. In front of a porno place.
That was in the
city of Industry.
Right next door to a strip joint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I went down there broke as fuck. And I needed to get high in the worst way. And you said, come on down and I'll take care of half your problem. You know what I'm saying? I'll scratch an itch for you. At least you get a quarter gram out of it. And I went down there on a Wednesday night, and when I'm up on stage, some drunk guy throws his wallet at me. Just throws his wallet at me. I catch it out of the air, and I'm holding on to the wallet. And he goes, go ahead, he's drunk. He's like, go ahead, go buy a drink, you fat fuck, whatever. and I finished my set, and I had to walk into the bathroom anyway. And as I was walking into the bathroom, I opened up his wallet and he had a stack of 100 and a couple 50s, and I took 100 and I gave him back the wallet. Fucking tremendous.
That shit never happens to me, man. You know?
Rudy Moreno.
It never happens to me.
Now, you started comedy here in Los Angeles. What year?
1991.
Jesus, that's when I started. July of 91.
Yeah, it was August. I was a month after you, man. August of 91.
And who was there with you?
Well, at first I was just working. I was working with the band. I was working with the band Diaz here in L.A. just opening for them, and then ran into Gilbert Esquivel. You know, Gil, man. So Gilbert Esquivel and I went to this church, and we thought everybody spoke Spanish because everybody was standing there with sombreros and big buckles and shit. And Gilbert and I flipped the coin to see who goes first to do the gig in Spanish. So Gil goes up there and says, he's struggling, man, you know, so he's doing his stuff in Spanish, and it was my turn. So I walked up, and the first thing I said, does anybody speak English? Everybody rolls their hand. So it was from there, and then Gilbert says, you know, you ever been to the Comedy Store? He says, on Latino night. I said, fucking Latino comics, man? It's only me and you and George and Paul.
So Paul and George were around then. Did you know them then? Did you see them around?
No, just knew of them, you know. But we went to the Comedy Store, man. There was 100 cats, you know, all Latinos that were working in there. You know, guys, not all of them are around still, but you know, everybody was in there, man. Guys like Luke Torres and Raul Martinez was there. Marilyn was there. So that just woke up a whole thing about, you know, not because you don't know. Nobody knew that there was Latino comics out there, or that, you know, they would brand us separately.
Where was Where was my man Danny Mora at the time?
Danny Mora was there. Yeah, Danny Mora was teaching comedy classes to everybody that was new there. And Danny Mora's still around, man.
No shit. I get a call from him every once in a while, man.
Yeah, he's you know, I saw Danny about 5 years ago. He was telling me he was dying from some intestinal thing. And then he showed up the next week and did 20 minutes. So
yeah, no, Danny Mora will never fucking die. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, right?
He's bulletproof. There'll be a nuclear war.
Yeah, so, him and Roaches, man.
Him and fucking Roaches and Pops.
Yeah,
little Pops. You can't kill Pops. Pops is a bad motherfucker. So all right.
That's
so
right.
Now, what year was this at the store, my brother? When all this was going on with you and Gilbert and Marilyn, what year was this?
This is 92, like 92, 93.
Now, when did the first show with Jeff Valdez start? The first show. What was the name of that show? Comedy Compadres.
Your best friend?
Right.
That was Comedy Compadres.
Okay.
1993.
Were you on that at all?
I'm sorry?
Were you on that show at all?
Yeah, I got on that show.
Okay. Who was on?
Yeah, he walked up over at the Laugh Factory and said, you know, here's where I thought I had made it. I was going to do a TV show. Okay, my first gig was, my second gig was with Paul Rodriguez. And the third gig was with the Temptations. So I figured, well, shit, I'm on my way, man. And then Jeff came up and said he wanted to do a TV show. You know, little did I know that shit like this doesn't last, you know? So I did Jeff's show, and then Culture Clash had a TV show on Fox at the same time, in the same year. So I did both those shows. And I'm thinking, well, shit, I'm on my way, man. But, you know, here I am.
Doesn't matter. You were there.
The Comedy Compadres was kind of like a launch pad for his show that he did with Showtime in '96 for Latino Laugh Festival over in San Antonio. So, you know.
Now, before the Latino Laugh Festival, there was a show on HBO that they did 6 episodes of. What was the name of the Spanish show they did?
That one I don't remember, man.
Remember what I'm talking about? Pablo did it. Carlos did it. A couple guys did it. They did 6 episodes of an HBO show of Latin comics.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't on that show, so I don't remember. But I remember. Now I know what you're talking about.
Then John Leguizamo came out with his show in '95 on Fox called what the fuck was the name of that
Something
show?
Bugging.
Yeah, House of Bugging.
Yeah.
Fox was brand new. They just gave him 6 episodes or something like that.
Right.
So then, when did the Laugh Factory start doing their Latin night?
I I'm going to say that about 92. About 92 or so. And they're still doing it.
Right.
Monday nights.
Right. No, they mixed it with Arab night now.
Oh,
so it's Arab-Mexican night. They're together. They put the Arabs in the top tier. So they'll have like George, Sebastian, a couple guys. Then all of a sudden a fucking snake will come out with a snake will come out with a small guy with shoes with curls on them, and it becomes a different fucking thing. Jamie's jumping up and down. Everybody's happy.
So now, well, before Arab night, it was good. So it started around that time. Yeah, and there was a handful of guys, man. It was myself, Willie Barcena, Jeff Garcia, Carlos Oscar, Gilbert Esquivel. Yeah, and we were there every week because we were the only guys that they were letting us, let us do time up there. And then they got us to do every other week, So we go get our $10, and you're thinking that we're kicking ass because we're on Sunset. But I don't know, man. A lot of work in this game. You know what I mean? You're doing great.
Yeah, but no, I'm taking you to where they started. In '97, I was in Seattle. I was up on stage, and Jeff Valdez walked up to me. And he says, we're doing a show that fits your whatever, blah, 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 Latino Laugh Festival. We're going to send you a plane ticket. Come on down to L.A. and showcase on a Monday night. So I came down. They put me up second, and I ate the dick of death. And I went back to L.A., but I met somebody named Marilyn Martinez that night. That was very cool to me, and she walked me over to the Comedy Store after that. And I just stood there at the Comedy Store, and I went back to Seattle. So when I came back a year later, not even 6 months later, I moved back here. One of the reasons I moved back here was they were doing comedy at the Improv now with the fucking little Cuban guy. I want you to put a suit on. What was that fucking knucklehead's name? God bless his soul. He's dead now. He had the wife that was black. John Mercedes.
John Mercedes, god damn, man.
This is John Mercedes. He just died. And John Mercedes had remember his big claim to fame? He was somebody's manager in the fucking 60s.
He was the chick from Dallas.
Yeah, I was her manager in the 70s.
The blonde chick.
And then he discovered Ernie G. And the G Brothers. That was his big idea to take us into the 20th millennium with the Latino comedy, was the G Brothers comedy show.
There's so many people, man, and so many different personalities, because I remember everybody was doing because none of us thought to do comedy. We would just do this. White people do this, and Mexicans, we do this. And white people do this, and, that was the thing, because we were just bouncing off of each other, because none of us had material or anything. Then you show up. You showed up with a whole different fucking flavor, man, This was this Cubano cat who sounded Italian and had that whole East Coast thing going on, man. And it was fucking refreshing, Because when you tell a story, Joe, you tell a story, and in the middle of the story, you'll throw something else in there that has completely nothing to do with the story.
You gotta do that.
I was kicking the shit out of this guy, and I'm stabbing him in the neck with a fucking pencil, and I'm watching Dora the Explorer in the back. I got fucking balloons, the whole thing, but I'm sticking this guy in the fucking blood all over the place, So that was different comedy altogether, man. So I think that's why your success has been different than a lot of the guys, because a lot of the guys are still doing the same old shit. And when you get up there, man,
Rudy, it's hysterical because you've made me laugh many a times, but the things that we've had fun at is just the situations at clubs. How many times you come up to me and say, Joey, there's people here, you got to be a little clean tonight. And you look at me and I look at you and you know.
20 fucking years I've been asking you that.
It's not
Rudy, don't worry about it. I got it. Don't worry about it.
I got it.
And you just like to torture me, man, because you like to see me turn red and, fucking eyes roll up in the back of my head.
Oh, no, because people come up to you and they say, you can't perform here no more. And it was just but it's amazing how this is all we know. And people think that, Rudy, people think at home or whatever. I don't know what they think comedians do, that we sleep all day and we just get up on stage all night. And I've known you for 17, 18 years, man, and I see that you work every day. I work every fucking day. It's not just, making people laugh. There's a lot of work in between that goes with it, And
Absolutely. And then, it's not, I always tell these young cats, look, man, it's not like when you go into the mail room and you end up being the CEO after 20, 25 years, It doesn't work like that. There's no promotion in this thing, and you got to just work your ass off. Maybe maybe you get a shot, maybe you get lucky. You know, there's a zillion comics out there, man. You know, and good comics, and then there's other comics that are just fucking lucky.
Well, there's a zillion doctors, there's a zillion lawyers. You have to do something to stick out. You know, George did it, Paul did it, Carlos did it. You know, Johnny Sanchez stuck out for a while. I mean, we've all had success in different realms. I remember going into an audition for fucking the hottest Spanish show at the time, Kingpin.
Right.
That was going to be the hottest show. They gave it to Stephen Bauer. It was about drug cartels. And I remember them sending me the sides and me looking at it. I mean, this is the relationship me and Rudy have. And I had to go to, the thing was up in Ventura, an audition in Ventura. It was a white lady who was uptight.
Right,
and I remember walking into her office and going, listen, before I even read this, you're looking for Rudy Moreno. And she goes, what?
Wow.
She goes, what are you talking about? I go, listen, I could read you this and make you laugh, but the guy that you want for this is Rudy Moreno. And she looked at me and she goes, I've never been in this situation before. Or an actor has walked in and told me who to book. And I told her, you're looking for Rudy Moreno. Don't waste your fucking time. And she took Rudy's name down, and sure enough, Rudy booked this fucking part in Kingpin. But not only that, he fucking stole the scene. He called the Chinese guy a pinche chino on national television. No, not even Edward James Olmos did that. You understand me on Miami Vice? Because there was an episode where Edward James Olmos fights the Thai people. He didn't call him a pinche chino when he had the knife and he was doing the stick fighting. You called a fucking Chinese guy a pinche chino on national television from 8 to 10 o'clock. And they left it in there. Yeah. But that's how strong that's how weird this system is. And there's a lot of times I get auditions and I tell the people, it's Rudy. You're looking for fucking Rudy, man. You're wasting your time with me. But it's amazing that Rudy got on this fucking national show, Kingpin, because I told the lady, I go, you're wasting your time. This is a national TV show, people, not some fucking WGN or some fucking TBS. This is a show that comes on at 8 o'clock, and I walked in there and told the lady she had to hire Rudy, and next thing you know, Rudy was the fucking guy.
Get that, man.
No, but it wasn't even about that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it in a way that
I know.
You know, you hear all these stories about. You know, the other day they had this thing on that was huge. You know, didn't Brad Pitt throw a beer to Matthew McConaughey? Yeah. The other day, and they made a big deal about it. First off, fucking Brad Pitt was a pot smoker. All of a sudden, that chick with 9 kids make him drink beer, whatever the fuck it is. But just the fact, you and I both know that when Brad Pitt looks at Matthew McConaughey, he goes, look at that punk-ass bitch. And when Matthew McConaughey looks at fucking Brad Pitt, he goes, look at that punk-ass bitch with that bitch running his life. You know, because they're in the same category when it comes to acting. Good-looking white dude. They're both in the same fucking category. They go up against each other head to head. There's got to be a little animosity between them. Hey, man, pal, and they threw a beer at him.
Right.
That's one part of Hollywood that I've never, like when you see George Clooney hanging out with Matt Damon, they're giggling. Do they call each other? Do they check up on each other? Do their kids play together? Do they share orgy pictures? That's bullshit. That's for the general public to say, look at them, they're good friends. They ain't good friends. You know what, Rudy? What we have, our relationship throughout a lot of Latin comics. You know, yes, there's some animosity. There's animosity between this guy and that guy. Let me tell you something, man. The people who do get along, I love you guys for what we have a little gang. We have this understanding. And that's one thing I did not like about comedy. There's other realms of comedy that they just hang out and giggle together. But they're really hating each other. Not with my realm, with you guys, man, it's like I have a realm of comics that I'm with that it's either me or them. If I don't get the job, I hope they get the fucking job because they deserve it more than I do. And I want people to listen to that on the podcast that you're one of those people. It's me and you and Johnny. And we've been laughing for fucking years. And we turn each other to different, once a month you call me with, hey, man, I just went out with this commercial. Call your agent. Tell them we look out for each other. We really fucking do. It's not about, well, fuck Rudy, K Locos. Where's Mike Robles today? Nowhere. He's nowhere. We've seen him come and go, flash in the fucking pants. This guy had a fucking TV show. He was the host of a TV show that promoted more Latin comics than fucking Johnny Carson did. Where is he today? Because he didn't do the work.
Yeah.
There's work involved in this. You got to do the work. You know when you're a kid and they tell you what's 21 times fucking 52? and they make you show me the fucking work. That's what happens in this game with comedy. And it's so funny, the people who don't want to work and the people who want to work. I have a friend of mine who always says, well, nobody calls me for anything. I called the kid 4 times yesterday. He had his machine on throughout the day. So, you're not working. What the fuck were you doing that your answering machine is on at 2 in the afternoon? It's the same people. Exactly. Nobody calls me crying anymore. For 10 years, people used to call me crying. And one of those people was Marilyn Martinez. Towards the end, she was very angry about it. And I told her, this anger, get out there and do something. You could sit at home all day and call, and this guy's doing this, and they gave this to Lisa Lampanelli. It don't matter. You have a job to do, and that's why you're still at the fucking Ice House after 15 years, Rudy.
Yeah. Thanks, Joey. Yeah, it's a blessing, man, too. So, a lot of guys, we've had a lot of guys go through there, man, that have been very, very successful. Not all of them call me back anymore, but but like you're talking about the work, man. These guys that are just working their ass off. Gabriel Iglesias being one of them, man. We get a lot of people talking, maybe a little jealous about his success. But I remember the kid doing fucking backyard parties and doing shit for dog catchers and shit.
What the fuck are you talking about? I remember you sending me and him down to fucking Tucson, the Bugsies, for $150 on a Wednesday night.
Jesus.
$150 on a Wednesday night. You took a plane from Burbank on Southwest to Tucson. You came back the next day at 10 o'clock, coked up, your dick sucked with a spider bite on your neck, and some pussy on your breath. Fucking disgusting. This club, they would let you in if you gave them a bug at the door on Wednesday nights. If you picked up a caterpillar and gave it to them at the door, they let you in. Freaks.
Remember Big Alex, the motor guy, the 600-pound guy?
600 pounds. He had flaps behind, and he lost a bunch of weight. He had to get healthy, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did
still 300 and some odd pounds.
Right, he did the fucking surgery. Great guy. That bar, people would come up to you and give you Coke rocks, pills, explosives, Gorilla biscuits, grenades. They didn't give a fuck. If they came up over the board, I was right there. I mean, it was fucking crazy. I remember getting in cars with people and going to rides to get Coke and crazy chicks. One night I was in the front seat of a car with these 2 Mexican dudes, and I had a chick in the back and 2 guys in the back, and they were both fingering her, and everybody's doing Coke with the fucking pussy finger. It was tremendous. It was tremendous. You don't forget that in your comedy career. But me, Gabriel, and Mommy went down there. What's the comedian that's the mommy?
Oh, Debbie.
Debbie Gutierrez went to fucking...
Debbie Gutierrez.
So she was in the middle seat, and me and Gabriel were in the corner seats, and we both fell asleep on it. She goes, I woke up, I had 600 pounds on top of me. That's when Gabriel lost his virginity, was on the road in Tucson.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is...
Yeah, he was 21 years old.
And what people at home don't understand is, that you could give somebody $1 million, you give them 20 TV shows, you give them 20 women, and I'm going to tell you something. On your deathbed, you're not going to remember none of that. You're going to remember going to Tucson with Gabriel and getting your dick sucked in a closet while he's in a fuck... the hotel they put you up in was possibly the worst
roaches used to answer the door,
hotel in the nation. One night, a girl knocked on my door. That was a tourist. She was so scared. She asked if she could sleep on the floor. If nothing would happen. She ended up, I think I ate her pussy and tickled her feet. Or some shit. I mean, it was crazy. The doors didn't close. Crack hoes. There were hookers in the hotel. You could get drugs in the hotel. You go back to the hotel, ask the fucking guy at the counter, can you send me something up? Within an hour, somebody would knock on your door with a 40. It was,
wow.
And have you seen the hotel lately?
No, I haven't been there, man.
It's fucking beautiful. They redid it. It was across the... So you landed, you went to the hotel, you checked in, and you walked right across the street to the taco place. There was like a burrito place, and then you went right back to the fucking... you went right back to the fucking hotel, you did the show, you went back to the show fucking hammered, and then you woke up and fucking got on the plane the next day. Old school comedy. You were back Thursday morning with $150 in your pocket. If you bought Coke, you came back with $30 in your pocket.
Big money, man.
And now, let me ask you something else, Rudy. You also were the first Mexican on Lopez, what George Lopez's show. You were the first Mexican on the Tonight Show. You were the first Mexican on Arsenio. Tell me all your credits.
I was ever on the Tonight Show, man.
All right, so
no, I did George's show when he had that Lopez Tonight thing, and I was the first Latino comic.
Oh shit!
You know, so I don't know. Do I get a fucking crown with a cape or something? You know,
you're good till we get a black mayor.
What's that?
You're good till we get a black mayor. Right now, Villarigolosi has a picture of you in his office. Once he gets fired, then you're fucking done.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was cool. I mean, I got some work out of that, but you know. That was it, man. That was it. I mean, I've done other TV shows, but as far as like late night, I never did the Tonight Show or Arsenio. I'm still waiting for Arsenio to call me.
Fuck that, dude. You did some good movies. I'm gonna tell you something, Rudy. And I'm gonna tell you something from the bottom of my heart. And I know that a lot of people who listen to the podcast are in this part of California, whatever. I don't know what you people do on Wednesday nights or what you don't do. But the guy I have on the phone has helped more young comics than a lot of other people do in this career. He gave us a forum on Wednesday nights, and yeah, sometimes the checks bounce, you know, shit like that. But it was still, you know, if it's. Are you still doing the Saturday night at the Grill?
No, we're not doing the Saturdays anymore, man. Okay. We've gotten to that same place. It's called Rudy's. Ironically, and you know. The owner, 78 years old, so he'll hire me for 6 weeks, and he'll fire me. He'll call me back the next week. You know what will work here? Comedy. You should try it. So we'll go back, you know, a month after me. You've been there, 100 times, right?
Yeah. I just went down there about 6, 7 weeks. About 3 months ago, I went down there with Edwin on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Edwin had a spot, so we were going to get high, and we went down there. But
yeah.
I don't know what you do. I know the tickets are cheap on Wednesday nights. I know that Rudy puts his heart and soul into this fucking show. It's 15-year anniversary. He wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't any good. And, you know, you've had your peaks and your valleys, but you deserve the respect that you deserve, Rudy Moreno. You're,
brother, thank you, man. Thanks.
You know,
and thank you for being part of that, man. And
yeah, even though they don't put my pictures on the wall and nothing like that, you got all your little Mexican buddies jumping up and down with hats on. You got no fucking Cubans on there and shit represent. You got no pictures of Fidel. That's okay. I love you anyway, cocksucker. But no. All jokes aside, one thing you don't forget in your career is the little times like when we were at the Commerce Casino and a comic would be on stage. That was
always fun.
And I would whisper under my breath, Rudy. I would say Rudy 1,000 fucking times until he heard me.
And just to see me turn around and what, Joey?
What, Joey? Rudy, wait till I sit. Rudy, Rudy, let me take an Altoid. Rudy, where's the fucking free drink ticket? Rudy, where's the water? Rudy, where's the stage? Rudy, where's the microphone?
You just love torturing me,
Rudy,
man.
what time am I going up? Rudy, can I work dirty? Can I tell him by the time I fucked the chick up the ass and she sucked my dick? No, Joey. You know, it's funny at the end of the day when you look at all the places you perform and the people that give you, the people who gave you the stage time when you needed it the most. You know, you don't forget those things. Not in my world, you don't. When you're, even when you're
the last of a dying.
Even when you drive past a place, you ever drive past a Brave Bull? It might be a linoleum store now, but you look at it, a little tear comes to your eye. You're like, how many grams of blow did I do in that bathroom?
Oh man, Jesus!
You know,
could have bought the fucking Brave Bull, dude.
You know, and there's so many places. Listen, man, 7, 8 years ago, these Mexican cats, Fly, Jeff Garcia, Felipe, Edwin. Every night we had comedy. Every night. Yeah. And they opened their doors to anybody. It wasn't Latin comedy or Filipino comedy. If you had heart and balls to go up on that stage, they put you on those stages. From West Covina to fucking, what's Patrick DeGear's room in the fucking bad area in San Diego. I mean, these guys have created their own way. Let me tell you something about these Latin comics, these young guys. You know, when they walk in the Comedy Store and the Improv and the Laugh Factory, they don't have management. And this goes the same for black comics. A lot of ethnic comics do this. And I want people at home to know that these guys, you know, it's not like they're opened up with warm hearts. They don't have open mics and all these things to get on stage. You know what these motherfuckers do? They create their own venues. And they grow in their own venues. From Rudy to Willie Barcena to Jeff Garcia to Edwin. I seen these guys blossom on their own the sweat of their own labor. It's not like somebody made a path for them.
Right.
That's one part of being a comic. There's comics that get on stage 3 times and 3 art sees you and they love you and you're witty and they put you on all these stages. Well, some people don't have that opportunity. And I was one of those guys that didn't have an opportunity. Right. Yeah, I got spots at the store. But for me to really improve, it was the Brave Bulls. It was the Daily Planet. It was Casa Latinas. It was all those fucking bars that you would never go into. And that you guys would get us $20, $30 a free meal. You know, Gilbert at the VFW, the best tacos in California for 50 cents. The best. And then the fucking room went away. I used to be more pissed off about not getting paid than the fucking taco. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a part.
Yeah.
You know, when Gilbert called you, it wasn't about the $50. It was that you were going to eat the best tacos in fucking town.
Exactly.
You know, you went down there, you brought your date with you, you brought some reefer. So these are the things you remember. And I thank you, Rudy, because you started a generation of these guys. You taught them that if they didn't give you a stage, you had to build your own fucking stage. You have to build your own stage, man. You did that with the Brave Bull. The Brave Bull was Fridays and Saturdays. And sometimes you threw a Wednesday in there. And so what? You didn't give us the money for the rent. You gave us money for a couple cocktails and a bag of weed. But the opportunity was the stage time, which is what these cats fucking miss out on. They don't know that it's like jiu-jitsu. You need to get on the mat. You can watch all the instructional DVDs you want. And you can go, you can hang out with Eddie Bravo and you can hang out with Steven Seagal. But if you don't get on that fucking mat, it's the same thing with comedy. And you got to start at these fucking disgusting places, you know, where Mexicans throw hats. You know, I used to feel bad for white dudes that would go up in front of Mexican crowds. And they'd kill. And those comics today are comedians. Say what you want about Darren Carter, the party starter. When he goes in front of you, he gives you a strong set because he learned how to be a comic in those hellholes. And that's what they are. They're Vietnam for comics. And, you know, comics do those things 3 times, and they're like, I'm not going back over there. I'm going to the comedy store. Sure. It's fucking real work. You got to go up there and convince them that you're fucking funny. So, you know what? I can say whatever the fuck I want to. Part of my career is owed to guys like you, Rudy. So I want to thank you for what you do. I want people to support you at the Ice House. Rudy's up there every fucking Wednesday at 8 o'clock. You make reservations. 626. What's the number? 577-1894. The tickets are cheap. They got margaritas. They got Mexican broads with big fucking asses. Rudy's going to get the drummer from El Compadre to start going up down Wednesdays and selling coke out the back door. We're going to turn this into Little Guadalajara. We're going to bring up Vermont, get some T-shirts, some hats. You can buy a Versace purse. It's all over. Rudy, is what you need to do. You need to put a fucking Mexican bazaar up there with the emphasis on bazaar. You know what I'm saying? Some blows, some hats. Mexicans aren't making money by selling straw hats. They're making money by selling the fucking puro. You got to invite the cartel up there, cocksucker. I get emotional when it comes to Mexican people. You know that.
Crazy, man.
I love you, brother, and I'm happy you called in.
Everybody that, you know, the outside of Joey Diaz, you know, rough, tough, fucking street guy, but you're a fucking sweetheart, man. You're a huge fucking teddy bear, man. Although I saw you kick the shit out of somebody at the Ice House, but
no, I just spit in his face and bit slapped him. I didn't kick
no.
I had to get out of there.
The funny thing was Ramos the next day, because Ramos had picked you up outside. Remember that?
Yeah, he drove me with the cops looking for me. They had the helicopter.
The cops were looking for you. The fucking helicopter was out there and everything else. And the next day, I called him up and I had downloaded some police calls from my computer and I put them on the background. And I called him and I told him he was you know, that we were looking for him. And you should have seen him squirm. Well, you know, I'm a substitute teacher, and I'm a comic, and I was out there just looking for my friend and all this shit. And I told him, I said, look, one of 2 things: you either bring Joe Diaz down to the station, or I'm just gonna go pick you up right now. How do you want to do this? The fucking guy was dying, man. Right? So then I finally said, we're gonna send Officer Rudy Moreno down there. He said, you motherfucker, man! If I fire
you know, Rudy, and I gotta tell you something, man. I still get a lot of grief over that, over going off on Jeff at the funeral parlor. I mean, a lot of people won't do business with me. A lot of people won't hire me because of that. And I don't really give a fuck because I stuck up for my friend. And that's something that in this business, people forget to do.
You're a stand-up dude, man.
No, I stuck up for everybody because he abused everybody. That guy called himself a Mexican. He called himself a Latino. He called himself a man. And he wasn't any of those fucking things. He was trying to fuck us up the ass with his left hand. And, you know, he was making big money off those festivals, giving us $50 fucking a set. and you got to get your own plane ticket for Latino Laugh Festival. I know he took care of some people, but the rest of us. But 2 people he tortured were me and Marilyn. He tortured us, and he tortured a lot of Latin comics. You're supposed to give your people love.
Why is that? Why did he single out you guys?
The one festival, he told us that we were too dirty, and he made a showcase like 3 or 4 times to make us feel bad. He wanted us to prove a point that we could work clean. I couldn't work clean. I told him the truth. So you know what he did that year? He made the festival, and he added a dirty show, and he had Carlos host it. He didn't invite me. And I never forgot that. I never forgot what it did to me psychologically. I never forgot what it did to me emotionally. I never forgot. And I became his friend after that. I understood the business sense of it. I understood it's a business, this isn't a popularity club. So I understood that. But then he kept doing things. He kept doing little things, and I kept hearing about him. Well, like one day he called me and he goes, "Hey, I want you to do this documentary. It only pays $50. And I told Pat Buckles no. And 2 days later they called me. They went up to $500. There was a $450 gap, and I still left $300 or $400 or $500 on the table.
Right.
But he wasn't out to help his own people. He was out to help his pocket. And you know what, man? That was about the time I was getting off cocaine. I was clean about 7 nights the night I attacked him at the funeral, at Marilyn's funeral. But I've never regretted that night. To me, it was one of the, because I spoke for Marilyn from the grave. And it was something, listen, man, when you have somebody die close to you, you see how people act at funerals. They act like fucking bullshit artists. You really want to go to a bullshit funeral? Go to a bullshit funeral here.
Right.
And when I saw him walk into the church that afternoon, I knew he was a dead man. And then when I saw him at the Comedy Store eating the free food with his fucking wife and his attorney, I knew he was going down. And I don't know if you were there that night. I went on stage and I tried to do my presentation to Marilyn, but in the middle, Marilyn's spirit wouldn't fucking let me. I couldn't even focus. I kept seeing him out of the corner of my eye, and I had to speak. That's how I was raised, bro. You stick up for your friends. Your friends are what you got. When you go out there with somebody, you stick up for them. Fuck the movie business. Fuck television. Fuck everybody. That's how I was raised. I don't know how the rest of these mutts were raised with no soul. But there's no way somebody's going to make a mockery out of a friend of mine in this town ever again. And that's what I learned when I got off the blow, that I just wasn't a junkie no more. I was a man. I had to start acting like a man. That's what kept me straight. And I went off on him. And I went off on him that night, and I left it at that. And you called me the night he was going to be at the Ice House. You warned him. And he still went up there. And he tried to be cute, Rudy.
Yeah.
He didn't stay away from me. He tried to be cute. He kept coming into the game green room and ordering drinks and staring me down. And I sat there like a little fucking faggot for 45 minutes. And then after a while, with my faggot fear that I had, because I'm as scared of everybody else, I thought about my wife, and I thought about my career, I thought about everything and how I had to behave myself, and how I'm a better Catholic, and how I'm a better man. I went back to the fucking street level that I'm from, and I went up to him, spit in his face, and smacked him. You know, he kept telling me, "Go ahead, fat boy, do something." When I spit in his face, he didn't know what the fuck to do. And then he tried to spit back, and he spit like a faggot. That had a little cum in his mouth. He swallowed the whole load, but he still had that last load. He tried to spit that at me, and I ducked, and that's when I bitch slapped him. And I just kept walking out. As I was walking out, the cops were walking in. They were coming in I walked right past them into the Ice House alleyway. Then I got into Rick parked outside, like on the fucking street, like a fag that he is, instead of parking in the parking lot. But if he would have parked in the parking lot, the cops would have stopped us. So, dig that. But Rudy, I love you. But that's why I did that, Rudy. I didn't do that for me. I got no satisfaction. That was for the fucking Mexicans that wanted to smack him, but didn't know what. I beat him to the punch before Willie got his hands on him. You know what I'm saying? I saved his ass. I'll see you up there, brother. I love you. Good luck tonight. Call the Ice House tonight, 626-577-1894. Get your tickets. Give Rudy a hug. Bring him some reefer. Do something.
Thank you, Joe. God bless you, man.
I love you, brother. I'll call you later, cocklicker.
Take care.
Bye. What do you think about that, cocksucker? Huh?
I don't know, but I mean, I've heard the basic story behind it, but I don't really know like the full story of what happened.
That's what happened, man. I got sick and fucking tired of somebody fucking with us, so I had to raise my goddamn hand. And that's what usually happens. I raise my hand, I get caught. I'm the bad guy after that. But you know what? Fuck it. That's what we're all about. If you got nothing to stick up, if you can't stick up for your friends, fuck them. Fuck them. Let's read some advertisers for these motherfuckers. On it. I love you. If you're having a problem with your cardio, you're having a problem with your fucking ankle, You know, you want your mental abilities, that you want to think quick, you want all cylinders clicking. You got Alpha Brain, you got Shroom Tech, you got Strong Bone, you got digestive enzymes, you got the Hemp Force protein powder. If you're trying to build muscle, you got. Listen, go to fucking Onnit.com today. Cut this shit. Onnit.com and look at the selection of stuff they got, from supplements to fucking ropes to fucking kettlebells to gorilla kettlebells. They got everything. They got a new thing that you push. Listen, go to Onnit.com. I could sit here and blow smoke up your ass. All I know is Shroom Tech works for me. I'm 300 fucking pounds. I'm over there doing 3 fucking rounds now at 5 minutes apiece. I'm doing the class. I'm not huffing and puffing. I'm not sore the next day. Please, do yourself a favor. Cut the fucking shit. You want to start doing something today. You want something back and you want to feel better about yourself. You want more confident. That's what it takes. Sometimes you got to do a couple squats. You got to do some jumping jacks. You look better. You get some sun. Boom. Onnit.com. Go to joeydiaz.net. Go to the Onnit Box and Press.
Church.
CHURCH. Get 10% off. Get put on the mailing list. They got stuff with different packages. They got the Stay On It program. That means you don't have to order Ugats. You get the Alpha Brain, the Shroom Tech, and the Strong Bone sent to your house. You don't got to do nothing. All right? Nothing. And you get an additional 10% off. Go to Onnit.com. Press
Church.
In the box, get your 10% off. Take care of yourself. Be a good friend to yourself, cocksucker. If you're not going to be a friend to yourself, who the fuck's going to love you, okay? Number 2, Nature's Box. Again, nutritionalist approved snacks. Tremendous. Delicious. My wife even said to me, she had one of the granolas the other day. She goes, it's not everything they put out, those little apricot fucking crackers, the sesame sticks, the fucking cocoa fucking almonds. I just killed another fucking package about a week and a half ago. Those cocoa almonds last in the house about an hour and a half after they get delivered. I wish I was fucking bullshitting to you. The first time you order from Nature's Box, you get 50 fucking percent off. 50% off. 50% off. There's no Jews that work at that company. They ain't fucking around. Go. 50% off. Go to joeydiaz.net. Go to Nature's Box and Press.
Joey.
Oh, shit. Joey. Joey. Get 50% off your first order. Go on there. Just do me a favor. Go to naturesbox.com. Look at the selection. They're all nutritionals approved. They're healthy snacks. You're going to love it. You're going to feel good about yourself. In the morning when you wake up, you're going to have a heart on. When you eat all that fucking food processed, it affects your fucking helmet. It affects your fucking vagina lips. Fuck all that shit.
The lips?
Yeah, you don't want the vagina lips affected. I read that on Google. Anyway, go to naturesbox.com and get your snacks today. 50% off your first order. What are they pressing the box?
Joey.
Joey. Number 2, Dollar Shave Club. I'm getting sick and fucking tired of talking about Dollar Shave Club. Sick and tired. You know why? Because one of the best bargains out there. I'm trying to save you money here, motherfuckers. I always try to save you a little bit of Gitas. I'll send you somewhere that has a lunch special. My wife told me that fucking Ruth Chris, for the summer, they're going to have a $49.95 special. You get a salad, a soup, an entree, and a dessert for $49.95. Are you kidding me? They don't sponsor me, but I'm telling you, that's a good deal. Just like Dollar Shave Club. That's why I'm telling you that. They got a $1 deal, a $6 deal, a $9 deal per month. You know what it is to spend $6 a month on razors? It's nothing. You get 4 razors sent to your house, double fucking blade. If you get the $9 package, you got double razors. They sharper than fuck. You can slide a fucking Puerto Rican's throat with it. Plus, it has an aloe strip on there. We ain't fucking around no more. For $1, you get 2 little blades. They work tremendous. But that means your budget for the year is $12 on blades. That's what you spend fucking one time when you go there a month to one of these stores to get blades. Don't be a Mamaluca de Ye. Go to Dollar Shave Club. Sign up. $1, $6, or $9 program. Right there. Tell them, Lee, we go to the Box and Press.
Church.
CHURCH. Who's better than fucking you? Nobody.
You guys should order it. He's getting worked up.
I'm getting red in the fucking face. Plus, you can shave your wife's asshole. Plus, they got the fucking peppermint snap wipes. What do they call it? One Wipe Charlie. Plus, you got the shave butter. It takes away the fucking ingrown hairs. You look like fucking Sinatra when he was getting his pole smoked and his dick sucked. Number 4, naileditlife.com. These are my homies from West New York, Cuban, all the way to the end, Memorial High School. Represent. These motherfuckers put together a vapor pen that is sensational. It burns the wax, it burns the oil, it burns your fucking eyeballs. You don't give a fuck, you understand me? After you smoke this thing, your eyeballs are on fire. Go to naileditlife.com. Get 10, how much you get off?
20%.
20% off. What do they have to do? Mention Joey.
Joey Diaz.
Church, Joey, nuts, Fuck anything you mention, you get 20 fucking % off, and it's the best vapor pen in the market. Anyway,
not to go back to NatureBox.com, but I just went to their website. They have something called Cocoa Waffle Crisps, and it looks like mini chocolate waffles.
Listen to me.
I have to get
the thing I like about Nature's Box is every week they add new fucking stuff.
Oh my God.
They're always creeping while you're sleeping. That's why I work with them. That's why we work with me. I'm with them. They're with us. Bam! Let me give some shout outs to some beautiful fucking people.
Oh my God.
Luciano Soprano, you bad motherfuckers. Jim Bergman, Vanilla Keisha, you're looking better than ever. If I get my hands on you, I'm going to suck that black little monkey. Oscar Nunez, Hazel Locks, you're looking bad too to the fucking bone, cocksucker. Jason G. and my brother from Vegas always looking out for me. Surveillance 702, the Toking Lair, you bad motherfucker. Want to give a shout out to Cleo and Water Bucket, the executive fucking producers of life out there, taking it to the next level. You got a question about the church, you contact Waterbox. You got a problem with the church, you contact Waterbox. He'll bitch slap you to death with that fucking board. He was out there with sharks and shit. All these people who think they're tough. Waterboard's out there with a fucking board and a stick out there with a flashlight in his fucking head with an Asian wife who's bad to the bone. I love you, Waterbox, Cleo, and all you motherfucking church supporters. Tracy, Constantine, fucking Leon, I love you motherfuckers. You're my backbone. The main number one fucking Chinaman, Chung, he's some Chung Kennedy, you bad motherfucker. Hanging out since the Ming Dynasty, that fucking Chinaman, you understand me? He has direct roots to the Ming Dynasty. That's why he's my fucking Goombarich. Anyway.
Don't go to that website if you're high.
Which one? Nature's Box? Yeah, you're done. You're going down if you go to Nature's Box. It's going to cost you $10,000 today.
Well, give you half off, though.
I was telling, sometimes you have a problem with a friend. When I was talking to Jessica yesterday, we talked about my dark years and the things I learned. And this is what the book is about. It's about the lessons that I learned. And there was one really valuable lesson I learned that I'm not proud of. And it was when my mother died, she had a good friend named Zoraida. Did I ever tell you about her?
Yeah.
Zoraida, she covered my spread for a couple of years. And the night that my mother died at the funeral was like 4 or 5 nights long, and there were 24-hour funerals. The Cubans do 24/7. They don't do that 5 to 7 view. And fuck no, the body looks better at 2 in the morning.
Oh, Jesus.
So Cubans come in and they drink and they smoke and they do blow and they do whatever the fuck they do. They pray, and I'm sitting there one night because we did the funeral in 8-hour shifts. I would work 8 hours. My uncle would work 8 hours, and my stepfather would stay for 8 hours. One night I didn't want to be home alone, so I just sat there and I watched Zoraida go up to the casket and get on her hands and knees, and she was talking to her, and I knew Zoraida from a child. Zoraida was always involved in my life. She babysat me when I was a baby, but she was always involved in my life. Every time my mom went into the city, we would stop by Zoraida's. Zoraida was a drug dealer on 113th Street. And she lived on the 2nd floor, and it was like fucking Walking Dead when you walked into her building. People were shooting heroin in the hallways. Jesus. New York was a complete different animal then. And we would stop over there, and I would walk up the stairs and see these people, and you walk in, and Zoraida had a bodyguard and a chihuahua, and she sold coke, and she was a 5'4" black Cuban lady, and 6 months before my mom died, Zoraida started coming by a lot more. It's like she knew. And when my mother died, she was the second call I made, and she came right over. And at the funeral this one night, at the wake, I heard her saying shit to my mother. My mother was in the casket, and she was touching her face, and she was even doing bumps while she was talking. This is how crazy Zoraida was. So I heard her say something that she was going to take care of me, and then she came over. She promised my mother she was going to take care of me. And she came over, and she hugged me, and, she told me not to be scared, that she was going to be there for me. And every Sunday, sure enough, she would take a cab from 113th and 5th to Union City, New Jersey, and I'd meet her at Otto's bar. And we'd have a drink, and we'd eat, and then we'd go to the funeral and put flowers to the cemetery and put flowers for my mother, and she'd sprinkle coke on the fucking grave.
Really?
Yeah, this lady was crazy, and she'd blow a fucking joint and shit. So Zoraida would give me a couple $100 a week, and she'd bring me a nickel bag from the city, and this went on from 79 to 80, something. And at this point, after I got out of high school, I was still getting money from Zoraida here and there, but I was using her, Lee. I was calling her up and going, I needed money for school books. Well, I was going with my friends to spring break. I wasn't even in college. And I would go over there, get $300 from her cash, and an 8-ball of Coke. You know, and it was just a really, something that, you know, I've done a lot of bad things. Nothing compares to how bad this was, how I felt. Because when I lost my mind in 84, 30 years ago, I fucking stopped calling over there. Because I had robbed somebody, and I thought they were going to call her, and she was going to know, and I was embarrassed. So for some reason, my spiral downhill. I stopped calling over there. And I finally got the balls to call one January after 6 months. And she asked me where I had been. And I told her I got arrested. I made up some lie. And she said that while I was arrested, I got robbed. They robbed me for everything. My dog died. The IRS seized my assets. I'm fucking broke. Somebody, when they robbed me, they broke my leg in 3 places, and nobody was here to take care of me. Where the fuck were you? And I just hung up the phone and never talked to her again. I mean, that was how weak I was as a human being. I just hung up the phone. There was nothing to talk about. I had failed her, and there was no words really to say. I didn't even think of the word that would have held everything was "I love you," and I didn't. I didn't even say that. I just hung up the phone, never called her. And to this day, I don't know what happened. I felt really bad about myself that night, and I said to myself that, you know, at that age, I learned the gift of friendship. You know, I knew what friendship was. She carried the, you know, this is why I went off on Jeff Valdez that night. Because I know the gift of friendship. I know a real friend when I fucking see one. And I learned so much from what she did for me, she did for my mother. Nobody does that. I knew the people that were even tighter with my mother that turned their backs on me. This lady stuck to her fucking word. What's wrong with your lip, Lee? You up here like a fucking... You look like that dog that shit on your head the other day, cocksucker. Some fucking dog shit on...
Scratched my
showed
head.
Up to my head the other night with a little scratch of shit. You know when you shit your undies? Just that little line, like it goes in your ass, and you still got shit in your ass. You got that little line in your underwear.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
That's what you had on your head with a little blood in the middle. Like, don't fucking lie, cocksucker. You still got the stain is gone. So he was on your head. It's a pug, and he shit on your head. It's okay. But we're both, and you know, you get these attachments in your life, like a child or a wife. You know, you get these things along the way. And when I got off the phone, I'm like, sure, he's talking to me about fucking stocks and bonds. He's by himself. You know, he's my age. He lives by himself. He has no children. He has no wife. You know, I couldn't even imagine. We were getting into a good conversation before the podcast started. That's usually the way it is. You have good conversations before the podcast. Then once the podcast is, you look at each other like, what the fuck happened? We were talking about children, how hard it is, even the father-daughter relationship. You came out all right. You're tight with your dad.
Yeah, I'm really close to my dad.
And it's... you're a very decent young woman, you know. If I love to call you a daughter myself. But it's amazing how sometimes when you're around a guy, you can see if he came from a fucked up home or whatever.
Yeah.
If a parent was there, I think it's the same with guys and women sometimes, you know.
You know, my parents did a good job with me because when I was growing up in the South, like in Georgia, we had a daycare center in my high school. Like tons of girls got pregnant in high school, and they took out sex ed and they put in a daycare. Like that was their way of solving a problem in the hometown that I grew up in. And it wasn't really, it was frowned upon to get pregnant, but then obviously like the school was like almost encouraging it by putting in a daycare. And so the way my parents like solved the problem was they just always made me work. They kept me very, very busy. Like I got a job when I was 15, and my dad owned a Pepperidge Farm distributorship, so I used to work for my dad. Like on the weekend, it was like never idle time for me to just like sit around. Like they really instilled hard work in me, and so that kept me so busy that I was constantly just like focused on that and like making money and you know and working really hard because like that's what made my parents really happy. So I didn't have time to get into...
Fuck around.
I didn't have time. Yeah, I wasn't into drugs or alcohol or anything because I was just like, no, I want to work. I want to like make money. I want to be able to afford clothes because my parents also never bought me anything. They always said if I wanted something, they would buy me anything I wanted, but I had to pay for half of it. So if I wanted a purse, it was like, okay, well, you can have that. Yeah, of course, but you have to pay for half of it. So it would have to teach me to save up money and like, okay, and by the time I saved it up, I was like, oh, I don't want that. You know?
Did your dad ever say, all right, I'll pay it for you, give me half of it, and then he'd look at you and wink and go, fucking put it on the own. I'll catch you the next one or something like that.
No, they never, only a couple times did I even do that. They never paid for the whole thing. I don't think they had the money either.
Yeah, my parents did the same thing. My parents moved to a town before it became kind of rich and higher end. And the kids in my school would get BMWs and Lexuses, and they would crash them. I have so many friends who totaled multiple cars. Mm-hmm. And I got a job when I was 14, and I worked for 2 years to save up the $2,000 for this shitty beat up car. Mm-hmm. I never got a one accident, never got a single ticket.
Well, it tastes better. You need to work for it. You're not going to fuck around with it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how we've all had a similar background. Because my mom was a firm believer in. Was there any time you could look at your parents and go, fuck it, I'm not getting up this Saturday and Sunday?
No, yeah, right. No way.
That didn't work either with you. That didn't work with me. That's amazing.
Never.
My mom made a point, because I'm the kind of guy who would love, if you sit me down in front of a TV, I'm fine. Even in school vacations, I was always in some sort of camp or league, or even if it was just going to a camp to do video stuff, at least I was out of the house. Mm-hmm. I never was one of the kids who could just run around the neighborhood. I didn't even have a neighborhood. I was on kind of a busy street, but it was just I never had anything like that.
Yeah, see, we didn't have neighbors. I grew up on 3.5 acres in the country. My neighbors were a cow pasture and a sheep farm. I grew up between those two, so we had to if you wanted a friend to come over, that was a whole day event. Yeah. So we had a swimming pool in the backyard. That was what my parents spent money on. They spent money on things that the whole family could enjoy, not just one of us or me or my sister or my parents. If they were going to spend money, it was going to be on a TV that we all watched. It was going to be on a vacation that we all went on. It was going to be on a swimming pool that we could all use. And so we all had to work and keep the pool clean and take care of it. And my mom and dad had an agreement. My dad did everything on the outside and my mom took care of everything on the inside. And if anything from the outside crawled into the inside, he had to take care of that too. So it was a very, on the weekends we all slept in maybe an extra hour, but as soon as somebody's up in the kitchen, everybody's up because they're hungry.
It's amazing how having a pool taught me a lot also, because kids would come over and then when it was time to leave, they would leave. Mm-hmm. And then my mom would say, well, what about all those towels, the garbage? You got to pick all that shit up. And I would pick it up. Mm-hmm. And then we had an above the ground pool, but then my friends got a below the ground pool. And I would go over there, and at the end of the day, the same thing would happen to them, but I would always stay around and help them pick up.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
His father would always go, this kid came from a good house, because all your other friends boogie with noogie. He hangs out and cleans the towels and fucking... So it's amazing the work. I couldn't imagine. I remember one of the toughest jobs I had was for a year. My stepdad bought into a flower shop. And you had to get up in the summers at 4.
Oh, early, yeah.
And go to New York, pick up the roses and the gladiolos and all that shit, then de-stem the fucking roses with a thing in your hand. Oh, shit. That was the worst summer of my fucking life, man. Mm-hmm. That was the worst summer ever of just de-stemming roses from 6 to 9, 6 to 10, de-stemming. And you'd get your little hand caught, and it was a fucking nightmare. I did a lot of shitty stuff. The worst second thing, my mom made me stick my hand in the tampon box. One time she told me...
You use tampons?
Yeah, my mom told me women put money in there. Because my mom had a bar.
Oh.
So part of my angle, you had to clean the fucking bathrooms.
Oh, wow.
So I kept saying, Mom, one of those little things, women leave money in there for you. Go ahead, stick your hand in there and shit.
Was there any money in there?
Fuck no.
I never stuck money.
And in those days, it weren't tampons. It was these big pads. Fucking Kotexes that looked like a fucking shell from the ocean. It was just like a
diaper,
like a small mattress that folded like a fucking mattress for a. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It really was what the lesson she made me do. And you're right, I never bitched. I knew I had no fucking option.
No.
I had no option in that situation. There was because she would cut me an offer I couldn't refuse. Here's the deal. This is what you want. This is what you can get. But you got to do this. Once you're finished with all this, then we'll do that. And then we'll move on. So it's kind of a fucking
and when you're a kid, you have the energy to do all that kind of stuff. So I was just okay, all right, I know I can do this. I just clean the house really fast or whatever it was that we had to do. But My mom never like made it like we used to beg my dad to mow the lawn because like he had a riding lawnmower and that was like driving, you know. Yeah. So but my dad was like, nope, this is my lawn, you know. Like he had a certain way that he did it. But then finally, eventually, like once we were better at like driving cars and stuff, he would let us like mow the lawn.
You got boys in your family? You have brothers?
No, just one younger sister.
Wow,
just one.
So two girls.
Two
That's
girls.
Tough.
Yeah, my poor dad.
The father-daughter relationship is like I was telling you this before. I was petting her head, and then she was watching the Wally Kazam, whatever the fuck she watches, and I'm just thinking about how my wife was like, I'm taking her for a walk, and how scared I was.
Yeah.
I was like, where you gonna go? Fuck, you gonna go? Studio City? Walking out? Stay in the house. Is air conditioned?
Yeah.
She's like, no. I'm like, I didn't go for my walk yesterday. We drove to the pool. So the whole time, you know, you think all these thoughts, and then I started thinking about my mom for some reason, how she was not into me having fear.
Right.
Like at any fucking level. The only thing she didn't want me doing was crossing Broadway. When we first came from Cuba, we lived a block away from fucking Broadway in New York City.
Right,
That's the biggest fucking street in the fucking world. You know, at that time, it was 1960 fucking 6. By 68, I was playing in front of the house, and she would go, I don't give a fuck what you do. You cross the streets that way, you know, laterally. I don't want you going across from Amsterdam, and I don't want you going across Broadway. And that's what I did all day. Yeah. Was as soon as I seen her head go back in that fucking window, me and my buddies went to the corner of Broadway, and you had to outrun the fucking cars in those days. There was no
oh my God.
10 seconds with a fucking hand and 20 beep, 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 and some fucking blind dude with a stick. That shit changed. You had like 3 seconds to run around the fucking street.
That's hysterical.
That's really fucking hysterical. That's the only fear she ever told me not to do. And I did it anyway. But everything else was like, you know. And we're talking about what I saw, like a mom's encouragement is different than a dad's encouragement. You were saying that when something bad happens, you call your dad.
Yeah, well, like when I have to tell when I have something that I just want to talk about or I'm upset about, I might call my mom. But if there's something I'm really upset about, I'm going to tell my dad because my dad is going to give me the kind of sympathy that I need. Like a dad's like because if I'm really hurt, like and I tell my dad, he's going to be just as equally hurt as I am. Whereas if I tell my mom that I'm hurt, she's going to be upset, but she doesn't have that kind of like deep-hearted, you know, she has a deep love for me, but a dad's love with his daughter is like he feels your pain so immensely. Like
it's horrible.
When I remember the first time I was ever like upset about a guy, like it's like making me tear up, but I told my dad that he had cheated on me, and my dad was so upset that he started crying over the phone, and it's the first time I'd ever heard my dad cry. Sorry.
That's all right. We're getting emotional in here.
But yeah, that's like
not Lee, but I get emotional.
I'm emotional.
But that's different, you know. My mom doesn't cry, you know. She was the strong one, you know. My dad is like a little bit more emotional.
It's always scarier meeting dads as a guy going to meet a girl's like parents. Like I'm really cool with my girl's mom, but like the dad isn't really in the picture, so it's kind of like this ominous, scary. Like my first ever girlfriend, she was adopted, and her parents were older, like really older, like 70 when she was in high school. And I went over, and her dad brought me up to like the attic and had guns, which in Massachusetts isn't a normal thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like freaked out. That was my first introduction to it.
Yeah.
But it's always, I mean, I'm excited, not excited, but in 15, 20 years with Mercy, imagining what you're going to do, Joey.
I was married before when I was locked up, and I had a baby girl with it. And I was tight with the girl till she was we really were tight till she was about 10. And then the last 5 years, it just kept getting worse and worse because of the mom. And now we haven't spoken in like 8 or 9 years. I think it's 9 years. But it's so weird. It changed who the fuck I was. Like, our relationship definitely changed my dynamic as a man, as a man's thinking. But now with this daughter, it's I don't know, I feel more connected with her. It's like I know what she's going through when she's going through it. Yeah. I tell my wife, don't break her balls. Just fucking, you know what I'm saying? I know, I see her piece in me, so I understand what pisses her off and what doesn't piss her off. And I get it. It's so weird. But I always had respect for my girlfriend's dads growing up. I never had no real beef with anybody. I swear to God, it's the weirdest thing. I never, because I knew how to attack it. They just don't want to throw it in their face. You know, at any age, you don't want to.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Throw it in your dad's face. So you just go over there, act like a fucking man, like a normal guy. And you have your job, and you don't have alcohol in your breath, and you fucking do what you do. You know?
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
It is tough. And I just feel like even with guys that I dated, I didn't really date that many. Like, my parents had a much easier time with me than with my sister. My sister had, like, a boyfriend from, like, middle school through high school. So they were, like, well more advanced than I ever was. Like, I would date guys all the time, but I was never, they bored me a lot. Like, especially in high school. Like, I mean, in 9th grade, I remember, like, I was always dating seniors. And then when I was a senior, I was like, what? These dudes are all, like, my friends that I grew up with. They're gross. Like, I'm not interested, you know? Like, they're my brothers. They're, like, my best friends. And so I never, but my sister always had, like, she had this boyfriend, Nick, like, all through middle school and high school. And boy, oh boy, that was, like, tough on my dad. Because it was, like, serious. It was more of a serious relationship. With me, they were just like, my dad's always wanted me to have a boyfriend. Whereas my sister had boyfriends, and then she got married. And she got married probably like 6 years ago. And I'm like,
where's your sister
like
live?
Far. She's like, she lives in North Georgia.
But close to your parents.
Close to where we grew up, yeah. My parents live in Phoenix right now, but they're moving back to be next to my sister. They moved to Phoenix because my dad needed a better job, and so they moved there for a job, but now they're moving back. So yeah, so they're moving back to be with my sister because she has, you know, a family and a stepdaughter. She doesn't have her own daughter yet or her own kid yet, but she has a stepdaughter. So, which is basically, you know, she's been married to this guy since she's been with the baby since it was really little. So.
But you wanted more than your sister. You wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I wanted to leave.
Right, you were
my sister never wanted to leave.
No, there's some people who want to stay there, but you knew in high school you were getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's amazing how, did you know?
Oh, yeah.
You knew. You fucking knew already in high school.
Oh, yeah.
You too? Yeah. Seriously, guys? We all knew. We're all from the same cut.
Mm-hmm.
I knew because I had the worst addiction I ever had was looking at Help Wanted.
Yeah.
Since the time I was a fucking freshman in high school, I would not read the sports anymore, nothing. I would just look at Help Wanted every morning. I'd go, machinist. I wonder what they do. A travel agent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs for fucking travel agents. I'm going to write that down.
Thank God he didn't choose that.
It's the same shit I do right now. I'm my own travel agent. But it's just really amazing how you look at things like that. I knew, and here I was in New York, but I always knew there was something better out there.
Really?
Like
New York, I would
something.
think it might be hard to leave.
I thought it was very hard to leave, but I always knew there was something that I was looking for. New York had everything I wanted, but just a little too much. Like I've always said, New York at the time, in 82, 83, had a little bit too much. I could look at Sarah and go, what do you think? Should we buy a machine gun? It's 4 a.m. We could still get it. He'll be there till 6. You know, that's just a little too much. That's just a little too much. And I wanted a little tame, but I knew I wanted to get the fuck out of there. I knew there was something. And I always thought leaving and coming back would change you. Yeah. At that age. Like it would make you more serious but it didn't. I'd see my friends that would leave and go to the service and they'd come back still retarded or even more fucking retarded. You know, and I'm like, why the fuck did you come back? They come back after basic and go, I'm headed to North Carolina, I'm headed to Japan. It's going to be great. I'm going to fucking eat sushi. I'm going to join karate. And then they come back a year later and they tell me how it sucked and they don't want to. And you're out there. And these people now that said it sucked, now I see why. They still went back home and that's where they live.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I come from one of the hottest areas of the country there, that little northern New Jersey. And I just fucking knew something. And I went to Colorado. Like, I didn't even come to L.A. I went to Colorado. I'm not saying L.A. has more. But there was just something missing.
You did like the opposite move. No one goes from New York City to like Aspen, Colorado.
Nobody.
I think 8,000 people did the opposite trip you did.
Yeah, no, it was. I was looking for something, but I wasn't looking for the obvious.
Did you travel? Like, did you guys go on vacations, or did you ever leave? Yeah.
As a child, we traveled a lot. My mom was a fucking squirmer. Yeah, she liked it.
That was my parents too. Like every summer, we went somewhere else. So I was so used to leaving the state. Like most of the people that I grew up with in Georgia have never even been on an airplane before.
Can you imagine that shit?
I can't even imagine.
My in-laws have never been on a fucking plane.
Yeah, I have so many friends.
Your current in-laws?
Or I don't know. I'm not even friends with them anymore. But a lot of people I grew up with that haven't.
They've never been on a plane because they're really scared. My in-laws are really scared people.
And I don't even know if it's the plane that they're afraid of or if it's where they're going that they're afraid of.
Really? Wow.
Hey, listen, man, for some people, I can't even imagine myself putting a fucking nacho chip into hummus. Like, I could never even imagine doing something like that. But for some people, they couldn't. Have you ever spoken to people about California?
Oh, they think it's like they ask me every time, and no matter what, and they're like, "Oh my God, is it just full of like assholes and people who are fake and evil?" And I was like, every single city is exactly the same. I've been to cities everywhere. It's full of people. If you have the natives, the people who grew up there, who think this place belongs to them, and then there are people who have just moved there to try to work and live. And that's every single city I've ever been to in the entire world.
And at this point, like all the same stores are going to be there. Like, there might be a couple of differences, like Ralph's versus Star Market or something, but...
No, nothing's really too different. Exactly. I mean, I have friends that, like, I would be like, why don't you just go, like, go to New York, go to a city... Like, don't even go to New York. Go to, like, New Hampshire or Vermont, like, someplace. And they're like, well, I ain't never left anything in New York I need to go get. That's what they'd say.
That's what they'd say. It's amazing.
Like, I don't need anything there that I can't get here. Why would I leave? And it's like, well, maybe you just want to learn more about people. I mean, that's where real, like, racism and prejudiceness and stuff like that exists. And I feel like a lot of that stuff is perpetuated everywhere. It's not, like, I would say, like, Philadelphia is, like, one of the harshest, like, most racial towns I've ever been to in my life. Like, it's, like, scary racist sometimes.
Really? Even coming from the South? Like,
yeah, because in the South, you know when people are racist because they're, like, waving a flag and burning a cross and stuff. But, like, in cities, like, that I've been to, and I don't want to offend anybody that's listening because I'm sure this is not the whole town, but, like...
I'm sure they know.
But it's, like, understood in, like, Boston and Philly, like, that whole, like, little, like, New England area.
No, it's understood. It's understood.
It's just understood that, like, certain people go in here and certain people go in here, and, like, we don't... Like, white people go to this bar and black people go to this bar, and we don't go to each other's. Or Mexicans go over here, Asian people go over here. And it really freaks me out. Especially because after leaving Calhoun, I, like, went to school in Atlanta, which is, like, so multicultural. Like, I mean, you have Morehouse and Spelman in Atlanta, which are, like, the most elite black colleges in the country. And then you have Georgia Tech, which is full of, like, Asians. And then the school that I went to, which was Georgia State, was, like, half Vietnamese. And there are 30,000 people at that school. Like, half Vietnamese. So I grew up in a really diverse... Atlanta is so diverse that I, like... You know, I felt like I moved to LA and I was like, why is everything so segregated here? Because there's, like, Koreatown, there's, like, Little Ethiopia, there's Chinatown. We didn't have towns. It was just like everybody just hung out at the same places.
It's weird because, like, if you go to Brooklyn, Brooklyn's the fourth largest city in the country, but it's got every ethnic group. Brooklyn is in you name it. You fucking name it. You name it. They have it, and it's been like that for 200 fucking years. I don't know why. Something about Brooklyn, they just have everything.
Well, you have the international airport, and there's something about...
It's just something about Brooklyn. Something about fucking Brooklyn that's always the... I haven't felt it in that way, the racism, but you just hear words. You just hear things. You just hear things, and you hear them from both perspectives in the East Coast. I've always said that I have black friends I know for a fact. They're not too cool with fucking whitey.
Yeah.
They're not cool with fucking whitey. They go back and forth because they must. It's part of who they are and their job. But they're not fucking cool with whitey. And I appreciate that. To be honest with you. I can't see everybody loving every fucking body. There's got to be somebody who's got to have something against the fucking system. I know Philadelphia as a city. I've been going to Philadelphia since I was a fucking kid. And I'll tell you one thing. It's just crazy. And this is coming from a crazy person. I'm telling you that I'm fucking crazy. That I've seen things that I've gone, you know, what are you going to do? Every time I went to Philly, I said, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Not the last, you know, to do comedy even to do comedy. I don't know why. At Helium, you know, it's a great club, but I've seen some crazy people there. But when I was a kid, I saw some great things in Philly. because I would come down from Jersey to go to concerts. Mm-hmm. So I went to see the Stones and Foreigner when I was in the 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And it was, I don't remember. I remember going back in my head was fucking numb for a week. Like just seeing, Mm-hmm. Then I remember the most vivid concert was I went to Black Sabbath and Sammy Hagar with a bunch of my friends. And I saw something at that concert. That concert right there cemented it. While Sammy Hagar was on stage, there were people that they couldn't spit far enough at him. So they would spit in their fingers and then fling the fucking spit at Sammy Hagar.
Why did you like Sammy Hagar?
I had never seen... Sammy Hagar is terrible. This is 1970 fucking 9. Mm-hmm. 1980. Black Sabbath, Sammy Hagar, and Shakin' Street. And I'll never forget seeing people spit on their fingers and fling it. And Sammy Hagar being on stage and kind of dodging the fucking spit.
What?
Like, it was crazy. I saw some stuff. Then I went to Glassboro State for a semester. I went there for maybe 3 fucking weeks. And then I stayed for 3 or 4 weeks. Just roofing. And I saw some craziness. Like, I saw one night the guys I was living with woke me up and they're like, dog, get up, we got some chick. You got to see this fucking party. And I was like half asleep. I didn't know anything about that in those days.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about sex parties and stuff like that. And they had a girl dressed like a mouse or something. And like 2 guys were fucking her. And I walked in. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't see that as a 19-year-old in Jersey. So for me, it was crazy. Then I heard about all that came with it. Like, it's the only stadium that had a police station downstairs.
Oh, the Eagles?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Because it was just so fucking crazy. When the Giants would play the Eagles, there'd be so many arrests. So but the town's got a lot of heart. I'm not talking bad about
it's
Philly.
So I mean, it's brotherly love.
It's brotherly fucking love. I mean,
when they love you, they love you.
Let me tell you something. Today, my daughter was sleeping, and I woke up. I took a little nap in the afternoon. I ate like a half a pot cookie this morning. When I got up, and I forgot, and I was feeling a little fucked up. And Rocky was on.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I saw it on TV. I didn't watch it. I ended up watching Bull Durham.
Right. It was on. Rocky was on, and I watched 30 minutes of it, and guys. It's still a fucking Academy Award winner.
Yeah, it holds up.
Little things. It's just little things.
Yeah.
When you see a movie 30 years later, now you see different things that you saw 30 years when you watched the movie originally. And I've watched Rocky over the years. But today I even cried. Mm-hmm. Just the scene I saw. Because when I walked in, it was him telling Mickey that he didn't need a manager, that whole thing. And he throws Mickey out and he goes crazy and he comes and gets him. Then the next scene is him walking into the diner to meet the mobster. And the mobster gives him money. And he goes, here's $500, don't worry about me. And he goes, don't worry about it. He goes, hey, I really think Lady Luck is in your corner this time. That line right there, it just destroys me.
Why?
Because this is a guy that's a fucking gangster telling a kid with a dream that I think this time you've had a fucked up life. Mm-hmm. He tells him, he goes, listen, man, I know you've been fucked up. Take this $500. I think Lady Luck's in your corner this time. And the next scene you see him is him breaking the fucking, turning the alarm clock off. Mm-hmm. And breaking the egg and throwing the egg in there. It's just amazing. But they also had the scene when he was walking out of her house. He's walking out of Adrian's house and he says something to her. He goes, hey, can I tell you something? He goes, it really does bother me when they say those things about me. It's just 4 fucking scenes that are just deadly. Deadly scenes that it was shot in 28 fucking days, that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't know who they were casting till the Friday before the Monday. They had already a list of people, but the movie was so slow in making it that the people went and did other projects. So that Friday at 5 was when they knew who was going to shoot that movie Monday. And it was magic. Burt Young got put on that Friday. The Boxer got put on that Friday. Somebody else got hired that Friday. That movie started shooting on a fucking Monday.
Did they have a budget? Do they have a good...
Like some shit budget. Supposedly the scene when he tells her, when he goes to the church and he comes back, they had to do it in one take. They didn't have enough money for film. They had to do it in one. That's a one take fucking
that's
scene.
That's when they had to still shoot on film, which is so expensive.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
What's up, Syatt, you bad Jewish motherfucker? You look at you.
It's starting to kick in. No.
Hanging out with the fucking Mexican girl this weekend, jumping up and down.
What are you going to do?
Eating Thai food.
Oh, yeah, I went to deep, like Sherman Way. We went to this Thai place that I got dirty looks when we walked in.
Why?
Because it was just all Thai people.
Oh.
It was all
That must
Thai
be
people.
a good Thai restaurant.
It was pretty amazing. But,
what'd you eat?
fucking, this, It sounds kind of weird, but you watched Bourdain's show, right? His old show? Mm-hmm. I don't know what Asian country he went to, but it was just like steamed chicken on top of white rice, and they give you all these like spicy sauces to do with it. Mm-hmm. And it was fucking delicious. And then they had, I like satay, like the grilled meats, and they had pork, which I never had before. And that was pretty great. But we saw a chef earlier that night.
What else did you get at the Thai place?
That's it.
That's it.
How much food do you get?
I don't know. What did you get? One serving? That's it?
No, I mean, it's
a fucking Thai diet.
An appetizer. They had this weird on fire thing, kind of looked like a poo-poo platter, but I don't know what it was. I was too scared to try it.
You dip it in the peanut sauce?
Oh, yeah. Peanut sauce is where it's at.
What'd your ass smell like afterwards?
You don't want to know.
Did you smell your asshole afterwards? What'd you think of this hummus recall, cocksucker?
Who buys hummus from Trader Joe's?
Eating that disgusting shit.
I buy hummus at Trader Joe's.
No, you buy a regular brand. You can't buy the weird
I'm gonna make believe I didn't hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sorry.
He hates hummus. I love it.
To what's happened. I don't eat hummus. Just this fucking montage.
I probably would have bought it there, but that's why you kind of I just go with bigger brands because I don't think they're gonna get fucked up like that. But
how can you fuck up hummus? I told you.
You can fuck up anything if your equipment's dirty.
What was in it? The equipment was dirty?
I guess. I don't know.
They don't make it with their feet. They don't step on it.
No, that's wine.
You don't hang up with the Arab up there, up at fucking Sherman Oaks that does it with his feet. He's popping grapes and throwing wine and jumping up and down. That's not you.
I can't do that.
Why don't you like hummus?
I don't fucking like hummus. I don't like talking about it.
No reason.
All right.
I don't like talking about it.
You don't have to tell me. You don't have to have a reason.
It's disgusting.
You don't have to have a reason?
How about let's fucking start with that? It looks like dick. That's why. It looks like fucking dick.
There's lots of things I don't like to eat. That's
and when
fine.
you're on a plane and you're hung over or something and somebody cracks open the hummus, you're like, what the fuck? Should I shoot out of this plane? What should I do?
Oh, man.
One comedian, I forget who, he posted a picture of this, someone pulling out a bag of like, what's that, El Pollo Loco or something on a plane, or just some sort of fast foods. I think is the worst.
You don't know how bad McDonald's smells till you smell it on the plane.
On the airplane, yeah.
It's really fucking weird what it smells like. It smells like fucking cat vomit on a plane. It really does smell like shit.
I feel so guilty when I have to eat, like if I'm running late and then I have to eat on the plane. Because I just know that, like, it's like,
well, if you got like a turkey sub, isn't that okay? Or
a turkey sub from where?
Anywhere, I don't know.
Not from fucking Subway.
Okay.
You know what they do to their turkeys?
What?
They beat them. They kick them. They piss on them. They have Arabian men pissing on them and shit. And then they
let's have the flavor.
And all the fucking meats that they have at Subway are all turkey based.
All right.
So when you're eating the fucking salami that you think you're jumping up and down, that's like the fucking turkey's eyeballs with Tabasco on it, and you're jumping up and down.
So let's say we went to the nice Italian deli, right?
Which one?
Which one do you like?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for convenience, I like Roma. I don't mind fucking Roma right up the corner for convenience. It's delicious.
Let's say we go to Roma.
You get 2 sides and the fucking sandwich for $7.60 and a drink. Where are you gonna get that?
Let's say you got the $7.60 special from Roma, right?
Yeah.
Walk onto the plane. Someone eats it right next to you. Is that cool?
Yeah, delicious.
Okay.
They got a sausage sandwich, or an Italian, or a chicken cutlet parm. No hummus on the sandwich, shit like that. You know, we're cool.
What did you used to have like at barbecues? Because I was talking to Paula, and she never had like an American barbecue, just because she's fucking Mexican.
Right.
What did you like? What's your go-to barbecue? Like since it's Memorial Day tomorrow.
A burger.
You go with a burger. You don't go a hot dog.
Well, whatever's there. You know, listen. It's whatever's there and whatever you smoked against what you eat. So if you smoke a fucking joint, I ate that hot dog at the track yesterday. I'm still shitting blood. That hot dog at the track, still my asshole's crooked.
We went to Carney's last night because of those hot dogs at the track. That was not... I expected a restaurant.
What, like Carney's?
Yeah.
No, it's a fucking...
I had no idea.
Fucking factory.
Yeah. It was not good.
No. What were you thinking?
I don't know.
So you ate the Thai food, the hummus, and that fucking Barney's.
Yeah.
You know what your asshole's going to smell like tomorrow morning?
What?
Death. That's what. Yeah. Death, like Newark.
Everything's bad for you, right?
Everything. Like that.
Everything's bad.
But have you ever eaten anything healthy and then smell your shit? It's horrible.
Everything
healthy makes you smell worse.
It's because it's coming out of my body,
no
matter
it's
what.
Fucking terrible. Like I ate yogurt and whatever. I farted. It was fucking horrible. I had to run out of the room. The cats ran out. I had yogurt and a banana and some raspberries. Jesus Christ almighty. But you go down there, you eat 2 eggs, a loaf of bread, and your fart smells like shit, and it goes away real fast. Nobody gets their feelings hurt. But that healthy shit, hummus, next thing you know, the whole room's on fire.
Do you guys, when you're dating someone, do you guys shit around you? Because I didn't even realize it.
Jesus fucking Christ! What type of question is that?
Because I subconsciously, I didn't take a shit all weekend when Paul was here.
Okay, you need to buy poopery.
Well, I didn't do it on purpose.
Have you ever used that?
No. What is
you spray it in the toilet before you poop, and then it makes it not smell so bad.
So were you around the whole weekend? You didn't shit?
No, it wasn't even a conscious decision. And then I drove home last night. On the way home, I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go." And it just it happened last night. But I just we're cool with each other. But I don't maybe.
Was she shit in front of you?
Not in front of me, but
have you smelt it in the bathroom when you go in there?
No.
It's been a year.
Did she fart in front of you?
No, I don't think she has. I farted in front of her a couple times.
And what did she say?
Nothing.
She giggled?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like a huge one. It wasn't like one of yours.
Okay.
Did you announce "Oh my god, I'm sorry"?
No, I think I did it.
You just don't say anything.
I think
of course, she's not going to say anything.
When we were laughing on the couch or something. I don't even remember. It wasn't that memorable. But I did get scared, and I was talking to Steve Simone about it, and I think he's full of shit. Did you ever have? Well, when you're sleeping, you have a dream about pee, and then you wake up oh shit, I'm actually peeing?
Yeah. All the time.
Okay.
All the time.
I peed on myself.
Thank God this didn't happen, but on the other night, I had a half an hour dream, and I can vividly remember, peeing in the dream, and I woke up scared that I did that, and I luckily hadn't done it in the bed, but it was the scariest 30 seconds as I was looking around.
I live in fucking cold weather. So when you live in cold weather, your mind fucks with you because your mind will wake up and go, I gotta pee, but then your skin says, fuck no, it's too cold out there, stay under there. So you actually think of yourself getting up and going to pee and taking your dick out and turning the light on. It's amazing. And next thing you know, you're peeing, you're holding your dick, and next thing you know, you feel your leg getting warm and your fucking ankles getting warm, your shoulders getting warm, and all of a sudden that's when you wake up and there's a puddle next to you. And you're like, God damn, it's amazing how your mind works.
Yeah.
Women have that too?
Yeah, that's happened to me. Usually only when I've been drinking.
Okay.
Usually, yeah. But it hasn't happened in a really long time. But it happened when I was in the bed with a guy I was seeing.
Oh no!
It was brand new too. It wasn't too. We hadn't been together that long.
How did he handle it?
Oh, he was fine. He just laughed and then
Oh, guys love
he. I paid to have the comforter whatever.
Oh, was it his bed?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was his. Yeah.
Tremendous. That's tremendous.
Yeah.
Girl came over and peed the bed. Guys like when a woman pee. If a woman pee, have you ever had a woman pee on you?
On me, no.
Fucking tremendous. In the shower, just have them squirt on your face.
No.
With your mouth open.
No.
You have no idea.
Stop that.
I swear to God, it's tremendous. It really is. A girl talked me into it one time, and I was like, okay, what the fuck I do? Blow up a loser? I'm a feature act. Oh, I give a fuck. Pee on me, bitch. It was great.
What was so great about it?
I don't know, something. I felt liberated. I felt fucking like I'd been baptized. I'm not kidding you. I wish I was kidding. She was really hot, too, and she peed on me, and I loved it.
Every once in a while, I'll click on one of those videos, by mistake. It doesn't say pee video or whatever. You click on it, you're like, what happened? This is the worst. And then I don't get it.
You never even consider
no,
peeing on a guy?
It's not
even
my
as a
thing.
Joke?
No.
Even if a guy begs you?
If he begged me,
Yeah,
no, I would feel I'd be even weirded out.
I mean,
I'd
I've
be
never asked
no.
a woman after that to pee on me. It's not something that I go around part of the patois. My wife would just look at me fucking weird if I asked her to pee on me. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. When you're fucked up, nothing's as bad. I saw a guy getting peed on himself one time. I peed on the guy. Me and my friends, because he was in a tub in New York in a club at this fucking...
Yeah, see, that seems like something that I could see dudes doing. Just dude, this dude passed out. Let's all pee on
No,
him.
he didn't pass out. He wanted people to spit on him.
He was at an erotic club.
He was at one of those... we were going to get blow at one of these fucked up clubs where people go to fetishes.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just... The first time I haven't been exposed to that was 1982 or 83. And it shocked me so much, I never even spoke about it.
Right.
And then when I lived in Seattle, Josh Wolf ran a bar.
Yeah.
And on Wednesday nights, they had that shit. And it was...
No. They had that at the bar?
At the bar, downstairs, and all these people, not one of them attractive. Not one
Did the beer
attractive.
taste like piss?
No, I didn't touch the beer. I was a doorman. I was security. Not one attractive person. And they all walked around with leather chaps on and their nipples electrocuted. And dog things and people pulling them and people whipping them, and they'd hang a fat chick. And they'd all throw darts at her and shit.
Wow.
It was fucking crazy. And I remember one night I judged this right in front of me. I saw this bald-headed guy with like piercings and tattoos, and I don't know what his fetish was. I'm by the door, and I would just get high and watch this. And there was like this fat chick. She had to weigh 400 pounds with like a bikini top with her stomach hanging, tattoos. She had been whipped.
Okay.
Like she had like that Denzel Washington back in Glory. Like she was like the girl in fucking 12 Years a Slave. Like one of those ones. This was crazy, guys. So he turns to her, because I think you just fuck. You just fuck after those things.
I don't know.
You didn't have to know their background, nothing. People just fuck, they meet and they fuck. I was right there and I heard him go, "Hey, how are you?" And she goes, "If you want to get to second base, it's going to start by putting in a tic-tac." Like this fat chick with whip marks on her back told this handsome dude that his breath stunk. I'm like, in which fucking world do you exist, you fat fuck?
Oh my God.
You're lucky this guy's even talking to you. If he was missing a tooth, anyway, I'm sorry.
I think,
just get emotional about fat chicks.
I think at those like sadomasochism,
right?
Sadomasochism. It's more just about the sadomasochism, and it's not about sex. I think.
It's about whipping you and shit.
I think it's about the dominant thing, and it's not necessarily. I don't know if it ends with sex at all.
How did they find each other before the internet?
I think that's what gets them off is the act of being dominated.
Jesus.
Now, last week we bumped into that chick in Austin that was like 60, and she had the handcuff on her ankle. Oh, that was the funniest. She had a handcuff on her fucking ankle, and she was talking about how she's writing a book, and she wanted to question me. What was interview me?
Okay, we were leaving the club on the last
still
night.
Going back to prison days.
Oh my God.
We had to be up in like 3 hours, and it was like the last night at the club. And I wanted to leave, but I didn't. So we came out of the club first, and this woman was waiting for him. And she just kind of like started hitting on him. Mm-hmm. And then you went back into the club for a few minutes, and I was fucking high out of my mind. But you came back, and then she talked to you for like 10 minutes, apparently about wanting to interview you about a book. And all I kept hearing was, "Let me buy you a drink. Let's go get a coffee."
I'm not listening, lady. I don't know nothing about that world. The only thing I've been pissed on one time, The rest of this shit, I don't know what's going on.
It's on my resume.
I was coked up. She had handcuffs. Fuck it. That's it.
She had handcuffs. She had one on her ankle.
This old lady did. But
wow.
This lady was fucking old. She was like 60.
Wow.
Just out there posing, telling. And she looked at me. She goes, "By the way, I have no hair from my eyebrows down." So wait a second, you're gonna show me that 60-year-old fucking pussy with no fucking hair on it? Now I'm really fucking turned on now.
I know. Wow, I never had anything like crazy like that. I had a guy hit on me once who had a briefcase handcuffed to his hand, which is like.
What did you ask him? What was in it?
I tried. Yeah, I think it was money because he kept like. It was when I was waiting tables at the Four Seasons. I worked at the pool there for years.
This place here.
Yeah, and every time you walk past him, he was just ordering like double Grey Goose on the rocks like over and over, and I would just like bringing him to him like one after another. And every time I walked past him, he handed me $50. So I walked past him a lot. And then he said, and he had this briefcase handcuffed to him, and he was telling me that his wife had cheated on him. And she was going to try and take all of his money, even though she cheated on him. So he took all of his money out of the bank, put him in this briefcase, and he was leaving. And he was going to Paris that night. And he's like, "If you want to come with me, you'll never have to work again." That's what he said. And I was like, oh, my God. That sounds like I constantly think about what my life would be like had I been like, yeah, I'm up for adventure. Because it does sound like something I would do. Like, I'd be like, yeah, I've never done that before. I would do that. But no, I was like, he's drunk. He probably doesn't mean it. That's what I thought.
Jesus Christ.
But no, I never had anybody pee on me or they didn't want to handcuff me to like some sort of interview.
Santana, what made you get into comedy?
I started stand-up on a dare.
What year?
It's been 11 and a half years now, so it's probably like 2002 or 3. And I had been out here in Los Angeles for a couple years as an actor. I moved out here to be an actor because I'd studied theater and film in college, and I even studied theater in Paris for a little while at the Sorbonne and the Comédie de l'Art. And the Comédie de l'Art.
Lee Diaz was the director at the Morsi Salat.
Morsi Salat.
He was the Jewish section. He's the Jewish division.
So I moved here, and I was like DJing weddings and bar mitzvahs and stuff. And my friend Poetry, who I was always DJing with, was like, Sarah, you're so funny. You have to do stand-up. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. Like, I'd only seen it once because when I was in college, I ran I was on this student radio station at our school. It was like the largest college radio station in the country in Atlanta. It's like Album 88. It's a huge radio station still in Atlanta. And we used to interview the comics that came through the Punchline. And the very first comic that ever gave me tickets was Mitch Hedberg, and that was the only comic I'd ever even seen. So that was the only thing I had even known about stand-up. And then I was watching the news one night after he told me that, and he wouldn't shut up about it. And this guy shot himself in the head with a nail gun on the news, and but he worked the whole day, and everybody was freaking out. And I wrote this joke that was like, well, I wouldn't be able to feel 3.5 inches if I got nailed, so what's the big deal? And that was my first joke. And then I just never looked back.
Where's the first time you got on stage at?
It was this little. It was called the Hot Wired Cafe. It was on Laurel Canyon in Riverside. Now it's something else.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I went up there one night across
You
from
did?
the bar.
Yeah.
Across from that little Irish bar right there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't remember what was across the street.
Laurel
but yeah,
Canyon.
Laurel.
It's not there anymore.
No, it's something else
No,
now.
it's yeah. I've been
near
up
where
there.
that Gelson's, just down the road from that.
That's
Gelson's.
amazing
Yeah.
that you. 10.5 years. What do you? 10.5 years.
11 and a
11
half,
years.
yeah.
What do you feel right now? 11.5 years.
What do I feel?
About comedy yourself? What do you feel?
I feel like for the first 8 years that I did stand-up, I just told jokes. I felt like I was a joke teller. And then when I went through a big breakup and I started going to therapy and really figuring out who I was and what I wanted, I really figured out what I wanted to talk about. So I think now I'm in a place where I'm talking about things that I care about and that mean a lot to me. And I feel like now I have a voice in comedy. It's not like I just know my voice, but now I have I feel like comedy is the last form of free speech in America, and that I have an obligation to say something that I think is important. And what I try to do on stage every night is help men get laid more, because I feel like men are sometimes they just don't. I don't think women say what they want enough. I think you have both ends of the spectrum. You have women who won't shut up, and then you have women who men want to be with but aren't confident enough to say this is what I need and this is what I want. And this is why I think a lot of divorce happens, because women feel obligated to pretend to be something that they're not in a relationship. So because we feel well, if I tell him what I really think about him, or that I don't like his farts, or that I don't like the fact that he does this, and he's going to leave me, because why would he want to be with somebody that's bitchy or complainy? We get that reputation a lot. So I try to be the bitchy and complainy one so that women don't have to, and then the guys will just marry the girl that they're with.
Sarah She's fucking hooking people up without them even knowing it.
I try, yeah. I mean, I'm constantly trying to be I don't know. I feel like there's always this perception that if I'm on stage saying I don't like it when men do this, that somehow I hate men. It's no. If I hated you, I wouldn't tell you how to get better. This is what I'm just saying. I'm just saying hey, if you want to be with a woman, you should probably not have a roommate at 35. You should probably clean out your car if you want to pick a girl up on a date and say hey, guess what? My life's not a mess like my car. Everything is a perception. And so I don't know. I'm just trying to help guys understand how they can raise their level of, because I feel like men are commodities and women are commodities too, and you just both have to raise your game a little bit.
You really do. You listening to this shit?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because I think Joey would agree with me. I don't know about most guys, but the thing I hated about dating was girls never saying what they wanted and then finding out later.
Right.
And I know. Terry doesn't.
But
Terry
it
doesn't
happens to
mince
guys
words.
too, and women. It happens to women too.
Yeah. Well,
we don't tell you till later. And
Yeah,
then you
that's
have
true.
a fucking problem.
Right.
And then you have a problem in the relationship, and it happens a lot with comics.
Yeah.
And it's gonna keep happening with comics unless you put your foot down from the beginning, but we're falling in love. We're looking for somebody. I mean, nobody wants to die alone. So it's weird that, when I moved here with a girl. And one thing I fucking hated was whenever I did comedy, she would come.
Right.
And she thought that it was her party time. Like,
wow.
Can I get a drink? My friend wants to come. And I'm like, God damn it. Sometimes you just want to go to the store and zip in and the fuck out of there. But now with this broad, I have to drink and talk to people. And when we broke up, it was the biggest fucking relief for me. Because now Terry, my wife, does not even think of coming to comedy.
Yeah.
She did it in the beginning like once or twice, and she just didn't like it. I didn't like it. And I don't have to deal with that no more, Right. And you live, but it's fucked up to break up with somebody when you're here in L.A. and you're a part of them, and the things that we put up with. But I've always been very vocal in a relationship because I know it comes back to haunt you later on.
Yeah.
If you're not honest, it's going to come back to fucking haunt you. Just tell them. Just fucking tell them.
I mean, I don't think I always was. It took me a long time to realize that was okay, because I think you have to learn to be vocal the right way. I think, and you have to learn to be honest in the right way. You can't just be like, you're acting like, I think we get labeled as crazy or emotional, and I'm like, yeah, I'm emotional. I have a uterus. Like, I'm going to be crying more than you. It would be weird if I wasn't.
I'm emotional. I don't have a uterus.
I'm going to cry when I read an old note. Like, that's just who I am. Like, if you don't want to be with someone who cries, then you should date a dude. But I'm going to cry if I read an old note from my grandma. Like, that's just who I am. So, like, it's just, it's really important to be like, no, we're different, and that's good. And like Segura was like asking me, he's like, how can I get Christina? Because I'm a huge sports fan. And he's like, how can I get Christina to like football? And I was like, why do you want her to? Like, why don't you just have your own thing? Why do you have to bring her into your thing? Like, unless you guys just aren't hanging out together, then you guys need to make some sort of decision as to like, well, if we only have Sundays together and all I want to do is watch football, then now you have to make some sort of concession. But I like having my thing, and I like guys having their thing, and but I didn't realize that about myself. I don't think that's who I thought I was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I would want to spend all the time I could because I was with a man that didn't want to spend any time with me. But now that I don't need somebody to spend all that time with me, it's very refreshing. And it's good to learn more about yourself. I think it's really important for people to be alone, especially in the country that we live in now, where we're surrounded by technology and we have everything at our fingertips. It's really good to just take quiet time and moments and really reflect and think about who you are and what you really want. When I'm upset, I'm like, what am I really mad at right now? I'm not mad at him for coming home late. I'm mad at him because I thought he was coming home earlier, even though we didn't discuss it. So I'm really mad at myself for expecting something of him that he never had an obligation to do. So that's what, I just try to rethink things now. I think things differently.
It's funny how I talk about it a lot, that when I go to the YMCA or I go to jiu-jitsu, I don't take a phone with me.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
I just don't take, and it seems like people look at me when I go to a gym and I'm on a bicycle and I see somebody looking at their phone. I feel so bad for them because I try to give myself that 1 hour. If something bad happens to my daughter and my wife in that 1 hour, fucking shame on me. But everybody's okay. They're at school, wherever the fuck they are. And I believe in that 1 hour for yourself. I can't be surrounded. I can't be. Somebody reached out 2 days ago to me about starting a business in Denver and doing this, and I'm like, listen, I'm 51, I have a wife, I do 2 podcasts a week, I'm trying to write a fucking book, I'm trying to write fucking material for a special, I go on the road every fucking Thursday. What else do you want me to fucking do? It's a law of diminishing return. Only an idiot right now would try to get involved in something, and then when you're 55, you end up having a fucking heart attack because it's just too much.
Right.
It's just too much. And I know that at this age, you need that 1 hour here, that 1 hour there, that 30 minutes here. It's so important. And there's nights. All right, so at the house now, the new schedule's by 7, she's bathed, the whole thing. She pops out about 7:15, she's a ball of fucking fire. We throw in a bubble guppies, and then we throw in some right cool YouTube shit. And it's like letters, A is for apple, apple. B is for ball, that shit. And she takes the book and she points at it. So usually by 10 to 8, she goes in. First time she pops in her fucking bedroom, I pop into my office. That's it. My day is over. It's time to go to fucking work. If I don't have a set now, that shit, mommy, daddy, that shit's over. Mm-hmm. There's times it's 9:15. I go, what the fuck is my wife doing?
Right.
Holy shit. And I'll stop what I'm doing and go, there's my wife. Unwinding also. Thankful that I sat my ass in the fucking room.
Right.
Not on top of her. You know, she's got the Kindle in one hand. She's got House of Cards and the fucking remote, you know. And I could see where the appreciation is. She's not mad at me. She's like, this is a great relationship we have. You're in your room, I'm in my room. No.
Yeah.
She knows I ain't fucking around. I ain't got time to be fucking around on there. I'm in there fucking trying to put a joke together or a podcast or something. And it's so weird how we appreciate each other's time. That's the truth. No, that's very fucking... Lee does it too. Lee doesn't see her for 2 fucking weeks.
I'm in the best relationship of my life.
She's in law school.
And she's in law school, so I see her... Usually, when she's not during finals, it's Friday through Sunday. But she just did finals, so I didn't see her for like a month.
Right.
And it's
missing each other is so important in a relationship. It's very important to miss each other, but also to be respectful of the time that you do have together. And it's just as, it's the same as respecting each other when you're away. The time that you do have together, you have to have your own moments, but then, okay, we only have this day together, so let's make sure we're doing something that we both care about and taking time. But no, yeah. I exercise, I don't even have anybody in my life, but I have to really unwind and shut down. I don't exercise with music or anything like that because I just need to get in my head and think about things and not be on a computer, not be around technology. That's how I take care of myself and treat myself.
And you're traveling a lot now.
I'm traveling. I haven't been working that much, but I have a lot coming up. Yeah. I'm going to Tulsa, and I'm doing the Edinburgh Comedy Festival in Scotland. So
how'd you get into that?
A friend of mine, her name's Camilla. Her dad is John Cleese from Monty Python, and he. So she and I were putting together some shows in London, and then one of the ladies that we approached was like, I have a theater in Edinburgh, and she just gave it to us as opposed to us having to rent it out, which is so nice. So we're going there for a week in August.
Good for you.
Yeah, called American Invasion. I think something, I don't know, something weird. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Are you still writing?
Yes. Yeah, I've been writing. Well, lately I've not been writing on a TV show.
That's
yeah.
what I mean. No,
not right now. I think we might be writing some more roast type stuff for Jeff Ross coming up, but that hasn't been okayed yet. But right now I'm just pitching shows that I've written, and I sold a web series to E, so I'm finished writing that. Now we just have to shoot it. And then, the rest of it's just been auditioning, and then I wrote a treatment for a couple of movies that I want to write, and then I'm writing a new TV show about the Comedy Store.
I'll fuck around with Sarah shit.
Yeah. I try to stay as busy as possible. Even when right now when I'm not working, it's no excuses. I just need to work on all these projects that I never finished.
What's your typical day like?
I usually get up, and my dog wakes me up early, so I walk him, and then I try to write tweet type jokes in the morning just about the news, and then I'll start working on other projects until noon or 1 after, or I'll go exercise at some point in the morning after I feel like I've blanked out on everything, and then I'll come back and try to finish. Right now I'm writing a book about the military guy that not ruined my life, but he really fucked me over. So I'm writing a sample chapter of that I have to turn in.
Have you heard from G.I. Joe?
No.
Nothing?
No. I mean, the last thing I told him was, I hope you can change. I hope you've learned a lot. I hope you can change. But if I were you, I would start with your fucking name, because I own it. If you Google him, you get me. So. And
did that all start from Ari's podcast?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So so now I think he changed his name. Yeah.
No.
I think he changed his name. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think I still get women contacting me. I mean, we're up to 9 different fiancés and 7 illegitimate kids.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really I fucked his life up, which I love, which is great.
What do you think happened there, Sarah?
What do I think happened?
How did this happen?
To me, or just with him, or why?
I have a daughter. I have Listen, man, I have 10 different women I talk to every night. Like women I grew up with. You know, I have she's like a sister to me. She's having problems with her husband. I have another friend of mine who I grew up with. I'm tight with her brother. She called me a few months ago and she goes, you know, me and my husband are done. I was like,
wow.
You guys have been together since fucking grammar school.
Right.
You know, and he cheated on her. And it's just amazing. Like right now, like I'm not goofing on you, seriously. It's just weird. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we're like, you know, we're both the same age. Where's that young girl that we're supposed to be hitting on? Why don't I feel like stopping by the fucking Lexus store and buying like the fastest car they have? For me, it's completely different. Like I don't even want to fucking be out of the goddamn house. Like I do my comedy.
I know.
I do my podcast with Lee. You know, I see some friends, and that's it. I'm pretty content with that. What happened to the midlife crisis that most guys are supposed to get and lose their fucking minds, and you want to eat pussy and
don't you
leave
think
your wife? And
that all comes from like the honesty in the relationship? Like when you're content and you don't feel like you're having to hide anything or to say like you don't feel a need to go out and buy a car, which is an escape, right? You don't feel a need to escape your house. I think a lot of relationships, people feel a need to escape and get out, and they're trying to you know, they feel like there's so much more going on that they're missing, and that's because they're not fulfilled in what they're doing. And I think that all stems from being honest with one another. I think it's easy to be like, yeah, everything's great. No, I love you. Yeah, you love me. Great. Okay. And, you know, and meanwhile, like someone's stewing about something that's really bothering them, but they don't feel like they can really say it, or they don't want to talk about it. And, you know, and that's where all problems base from, just a lack of honesty. And that's why when this thing happened to me, it came out of nowhere, because I'm so honest. I can't tell when someone's lying, because why?
There was no signs. He was running game. There was no signs that maybe there was no.
No, I didn't think that he was cheating. I had no clue about that. There were signs that there was a couple of red flags that I definitely ignored, which was him saying whenever he said he was going to do something and then he wouldn't do it. That was like, and I would address it when that happened, and then he would give me some sort of excuse and make, you know, in a very manipulative way, you know, like make me feel like almost guilty for asking, you know, because he's so busy with this special forces that he's in serving our country. And that really tugs at my heartstring, you know, like since I'm such a huge military fan in person, like that was. And then, you know, ultimately I was like, no, this isn't right. Like I'd been manipulated before when I first moved out here by like, I had like a very verbally abusive relationship that I was in, and ultimately, like, it was very manipulative where I would be upset with him, and then in the end, I was apologizing for bringing it up, you know? So when I first even said something to the military guy, he was like, when I caught him, he was like, well, I didn't know that you really loved me and that you cared about me. And I was like, I know what that is. That's manipulation. I loved you plenty. You are just an asshole. Like, this isn't my fault for not loving you enough, or telling you that I loved you, you know, like you knew and you messed up and you're an idiot. I didn't know about all these other women until after I'd done the podcast with Ari. I just knew about the one wife and that his parents were alive. He told me his parents were dead.
Wow.
Yeah. So I found his mom on Facebook, and that's how it all started. Yeah. And then I was like, wait, his mom's alive. And then at first I found his brother, which he said he didn't have any siblings. And then I was like, well, maybe they're not really brothers. And then I found his mom, and then I found his wife. And then I was like, all right.
I couldn't imagine trying to sleep with somebody and having to say that much shit.
Yeah.
To sleep with them. I couldn't even imagine that.
Well, luckily I hadn't slept with him, so I was really lucky.
Are you serious?
No, I never slept with him. Right. Yeah, I just met him on the base, and he was moving here, and we were going to get married. We had talked about, we talked about it every day. And then, so I'm really lucky because he had I mean, I found out like a few months ago that, this was probably, that he had, a girl was pregnant with a baby, and that she was currently pregnant. And this was last December, and that she had gotten pregnant like the month that I met him, like literally after I met him, and she was on his base. and she was stationed there. And then, like, even while he was like, he had just met me, he was still fucking around on the base because he wasn't in the special forces. He was a contractor.
This last guy you were dating, you had problems with too.
Yeah,
so I check up on you all the time by Red Man.
Yeah. The last guy.
I was going to Saratiana's world, and he'll tell me, and I go, fucking Saratiana, but get it fucking together.
Yeah, this last guy, I walked in on him having sex with someone else.
Jesus Christ!
I know. Yeah.
Where'd you meet this guy?
I met him. He had a podcast, and he also worked in comedy. He works at Jash, which is it's owned, I think, by like Sarah Silverman and some other famous comics, and they're like an online video, resource things like their own YouTube. And so I had met him through that whole realm, and then he owned a couple of art galleries here, and we just started talking and hanging out, and yeah.
You went to his house?
Yeah, I mean, I had keys to his place. I mean, we were that far along. And like there was again, there were a lot of red flags that I ignored, and I was not in a position that I shouldn't have been dating anybody because I had just gone through a breakup, and so had he. And like and I didn't take the time to like really heal. I just jumped into something else to help me heal, and so did he. So it wasn't a healthy start. So I'm not saying I deserved it. I'm just saying that I should not have been in a position, and he shouldn't have been in that position either. But he's still a fucking asshole for letting me walk in. Like, I literally walked in, and the alarm went off, and I turned the alarm off, and he's like, hello? And I was like, don't worry, it's just me, And I had a feeling when I was walking out because he was dodging my calls. Like, not dodging them, but just like, I don't feel good. I'm going to go to bed. And I was like, well, he doesn't feel good. And then I called him. And I was like, well, I'll just go give him a kiss goodnight. He doesn't feel good, and drop, and then he's like, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And I was like, oh, this is my fault? Okay.
Fucking hilarious.
But I think a woman's intuition told me that something was going on, and that's why I went there. I don't normally go to people's houses unannounced. That was very unlike me, but I think I knew something was going on, and I just decided to address it right away. And
I always told you, women know. They just give you a rope to hang yourself. I always say they always fucking know. They just give you the rope to hang yourself with,
So I haven't dated anybody since then.
Good. It's really weird, when I was younger and I had that baby girl, Jackie was her name, with my first wife, and I had her physically till she was about 6 or 7, and then I would visit her till she was about 12, and then that's when the problem started, our communication. But I had a dream, I had a dream to put together a superwoman.
Okay.
I wanted to put together a daughter that, my mom was a fucking savage. My mom was a fucking savage. And I think my mom had my mom had a boyfriend early on, and she moved to the States, and she hooked up with my dad. Then when my dad died, she lived with another guy. She married him. And I remember one night she asked him for a cigarette, and he went to flick the cigarette at her. He flicked it at her.
Okay.
And she didn't fucking like it.
No.
It wasn't lit. Like, he just went like this. And she didn't fucking like it. And she hit him in the head when he was sleeping with a fucking statue of a fucking saint, just because. So, I knew stories. I had heard different stories. I think she was embarrassed to tell me. But when she was 16, she stabbed a guy for raping her younger sister. So that's why my mother had an alias. When she went into the States, they got her out of Cuba, and then she went back and used that alias. And the alias stayed. This is when you just went to Miami and got into Cuba,
Wow.
So, for me, I come from a bloodline where the fucking women are savages, Or at least I want a daughter who, I just don't want her to be impressed by these fucking jerk-offs early on. You see these girls and you see these jerk-offs talking to them, and you really want to say something. You really want to go, are you fucking kidding me, girl? Look what the fuck you're talking to.
Right.
But he's got a little Sinatra hat on and a tattoo. You could tell, you could smell this guy's a fucking malice to society.
Fedoras.
Yeah, a fucking fedora. You know, when I see a young guy with a fedora and he's not in a band, even if he's in a fucking band, we got a problem. Unless you're Sinatra, you should have a fucking fedora on, you fucking jerk off.
Yeah.
And you just want to create the superwoman. You know, you want your daughter to be this woman this is not going to happen to.
Right.
You know, you don't want. What do you tell them? What the fuck do you tell your daughter?
There's no, there's no right or wrong thing to tell them. To be honest, it's like, to me, it's just like comedy. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just that you just have to teach them everything that you know and set them out there and hope that they make the right decisions. And, you have to, for me, like I had to go through all of these things to really figure out a lot about myself. And with the military guy, that's not something that I think, but I was aware of I did notice the red flags because I learned from every relationship that I got. And if I hadn't have had the intuition to be like, there's something weird, I'm just going to Google him. I'm going to find out more, because knowledge is power when you're seeing somebody, and I don't want to be. And, and it had only been a couple months. I mean, these women that I had that contacted me after the podcast have been with him for years. And if I had not have done that podcast with the power that I have, these women would still be in the dark. So in my mind, I don't look at it as something that happened to me. I look at it as, wow, I just helped save the lives of like 9 women. I just, through pain, but they're done with him now. And now he has a horrible rep, and hopefully he won't be doing this constantly. And when they go to look him up in the future, like they'll see me and they'll realize that he's an idiot. And so I think, through all of this, I've really learned a lot, and like definitely it's been painful, but I mean, I'm a comedian, so I have the benefit of telling these stories on a public forum so that more people can figure it out. And when I did Ari's podcast, I mean, that was the craziest thing, was the amount of letters and fan mail that I got from that. That's why I'm writing the book, because the letters were so eye-opening for me. Like, there were men that contacted me like, I've been doing this to a woman for 2 years. I've been pretending to be somebody else for 2 years. But until I heard you upset about it, I didn't realize, it didn't connect with me how it could really hurt somebody. So not only do I feel like I stopped it from happening to tons of women, I stopped men from doing it to a lot of women. And I stopped women from doing it to men. There was a lot of the same thing, like women being like, oh my God, I've been doing this for a while. I feel so bad now, So I think it's like, it's good. It's like I feel like sometimes I'm kind of a guinea pig to help other people's relationships get better. But at the same time, like, I think I'm going to when I finally do find the relationship that I'm supposed to be in, I think it will be some sort of meta thing where that will be just a perfect, compilation. But it's going to take me a little bit longer because, my parents have been married for 40 years, so it's not like they gave me relationship advice.
Right.
They didn't really give me advice. It was just like, well, watch us. And I just, for me, I've always just been that person that's never satisfied. There's always like lots of things that I want to do. And so I didn't really do the work on like studying what I wanted as a person and as relationships go early on. What I cared about was traveling and seeing the world. And like, so not until like 5-6 years ago did I even care about like seeing dudes.
It's not big for some women. It's not big for some guys.
I know.
It's not big for some guys. And all of a sudden you get hit with a woman, she's hot. You're in a bad position. I just didn't see, I never could see the whole lying thing, like saying something that you're not and getting caught and just going through that whole...
Seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, it seems like too much fucking work.
I know.
Just to be honest with somebody. Listen, this is what I do. Mm-hmm. You're beautiful. I just want to fuck you once a week, eat sushi, and
yeah.
I want to play with my computer. That's it. I think a lot of women go, you know what? This guy's an asshole, but I kind of like him because at least he's fucking honest. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want me to just come over Thursdays? That's it.
Yeah.
Thursday, we'll sharpen a pencil. We'll eat some sushi. We'll watch CSI Miami. You can sleep over. You can leave. Whatever the fuck you want. But after that, I just can't. I can't have your. It's something. Just something. Guys trying to be something else. I never fucking understood. Do you have time? You got a boogie?
No, I have time. I just have to leave by like 8.
Oh, beautiful. All right, we got another 30-something minutes with my girl here. No, it's fucking tough. I just want to build the superwoman. When you're a dad, I think I think about my mom, what she tried to do with me. I was talking to my wife about a month ago. She says that my mom kind of knew in a way she was going to die, so she prepared me. She gave me all this stuff to be cool with women, like she did. She gave me a lot of tools for women, like as I was growing up, how to talk to them, always compliment them, always open up a door, tell them what's on your mind, just little. And I saw from her balls, from the balls she had, I was like, oh, I dig this woman. Like, I'm a fan of women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of. The other night I was watching something. The other night I tried to watch the Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock. When you're home and you're like, let me watch the news. Maybe the 405 is shut. Maybe it blew up. And it was like the first 8 minutes was garbage. But it was the night that the chick was kidnapped. For 15 years, she lived with the guy in the valley.
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh, yeah,
that fucking story. And
yeah.
Like, how do I prevent that from happening to my fucking daughter? That she has that fear to go to the supermarket, not to tell the supermarket clerk, this fucking Mexican's got me with a ball and chain. What the fuck fear do you live with? I mean, what?
Yeah, I think, honestly, like, the greatest thing to encourage with your kids is asking questions. I think growing up, my parents always entertained all of my questions. It wasn't like, stop, you asked too many questions. It got me kicked out of church twice when I was growing up. And my parents still didn't get mad, because I was like, wait, Eve came from Adam's rib. Which rib? How did that come out? Why did you asked, and I'd never been to church, But anyways, I think being naturally, like, even like against the system, like at school, well, why can't we chew gum in class? What is it doing? What's the harm? Why is it doing, just asking questions in society, like when somebody says, no, this is the way it's always been. Well, why does it have to be like this? I think that's what you don't want your daughter to be in the cattle. You don't want it to just be like, okay, I'm just going with the flow, I'm just going to be herded like everybody else and not ask questions about government or why a man's treating me this way. Like, it's those questions in our head that make us comedians, right? We're constantly like looking at things. We're naturally observers and we question why things are the way that they are. I always say that I get paid to notice things that most people don't notice. So
we notice them, but we don't really notice them. We notice them, but we drive right past.
Right, yeah.
And then when you mention it, we go, yeah, there is. Yes, there is a Puerto Rican place across the street from where our office is, right there on Lancashire. Yeah, no. That's
I think actually encouraging people to be inquisitive and question why things have to be the way that they are, that's where you get women who are really strong, But you're never going to have both sides. You're not going to get a girl that's like, you're still going to get somebody like me who's like strong and asks questions and like is like, you're not going to push me over, and then I can still get duped into falling for the wrong guy. Like, that's just, it's all just a big pinball game. We all just like hitting a bunch of things until hopefully we score the right amount of points. I don't know.
It's weird. We were talking before the show about that hashtag thing, the
yes all women.
Oh, yes all women. And like, I've had this conversation with women before. Like, I've never done anything. Like, I've never attacked women, and no one I surround myself with would ever do that. So like, when I read some of them today, like always being nervous on the street or always having to put keys in your fingers, like,
yeah.
Well, my first thought is not that they're being over dramatic, but like, is it really that bad? Because like, no, I've never been around anyone who's attacked a woman, and I guess for me, like, you never think it's going to be that bad, but is it like that bad that you like?
I
do girls always have to be on the alert?
I think some women naturally have more fear than others, and sometimes that fear can come from having been hurt in the past. So now you're hyper aware, or you're just like really, really worried, even though nothing's ever happened to you. You just get told all these horror stories, like, don't put your hair in a ponytail so they'll grab your ponytail and rip you down, like, I can remember, like, always look under your car before you walk up to it, because sometimes men hide under your car and then they'll slash your Achilles, and then
serious?
You fall and you can't escape, like, you get plagued with fear, and then you are consumed by it, whereas I feel like I'm never really afraid of anything, but that's just me, because it's like I don't have guns in my house. My sister and my brother-in-law, like, have, like, guns in their house. Like, no one's ever robbed. I've been robbed before. I don't have guns in my house. You know what I mean? Like, and I think about, you know, if somebody attacked me, what would I do? Like, well, I would probably say, like, well, why do you need this money? Or I would, you know, you're supposed to, like, make yourself, like, you're like, I mean, I would, yeah, if somebody had a gun on me, I'd be like,
money, because shit's crack-a-lackin'.
Yeah, I'm happy to give you money, but you have to tell me why you want the money.
Are you fucking crazy? I got shit cracking tonight.
Yeah, okay,
I'm
right.
going to the fucking bar.
Well, if you have shit cracking, then I'm not giving you money. You're going to have to pull that trigger.
Freaks and shit.
You have to pull the trigger.
I got some freaks in the living room where they're getting it on. You know what I'm saying?
Wrong answer.
Let me ask you something, Sarah. 11 years of comedy. I've been dying to have a female comic, and I hate to even say that word, just a strong comic in the room. Every 6 months, some fucking asshole raises his hands and says something about women comedy. And I sit there and I fucking just nod, because I know that the people who say that type of shit, I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know if they're people who are scared of women. I'm scared of women on stage, okay? Because I'm a fucking professional. And I years ago, I went to La Jolla. I was in La Jolla for a first show, something. 10, 12 years ago, there was a couple comedy rooms in San Diego. So they usually started at 8, so when you finished, you went to the second show at La Jolla and you hung out with the comic. And I'll never forget going there for the second show, and it was Beaumont Bacon. You know what that is? Yeah. Was featuring. You never got to see Beaumont Bacon.
No.
Whether she's funny or whatever, it's your taste. But she has a lot of energy. She has a lot of high energy. Now, on a fucking Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, it's nothing to fucking worry about, even a Friday. But a Saturday, when it's date night, it's tons to worry about, because now a woman has a fucking spokesman. Yeah. You know, you go to a comedy show on a Friday and Saturday night, it's 3 fucking guys. Or the first chick is kind of up there, whatever. But you got a girl like Sarah, or fucking somebody who's got a voice or something to say, you might have a hard night as a strong comic.
Why?
Because it's just the way it is. This woman might come out and get the women so riled up that now whoever comes in between it better come out off stage the right way, or he's going to lose them, because the women just have a voice now. It's a very fucking weird psyche comedy game that you get to see every once in a while. And I walked in there and I saw Beaumont, and something hit me the wrong way. And I went to eat. Remember across the street from La Jolla, there's a Chinese place? Is it still there?
I think it's a
Chinese
sushi place.
Chinese sushi. Tremendous place. Pork fried rice, you get a couple pieces of albacore. And I took the headliner over, and I remember him cocky and like saying, you know, fucking this and that. I can't believe they co-headline Beaumont with me. So, because that's what, she closed the first show.
Oh, she closed.
That's what it was. She closed the first show. And I walked in, and I'm catching this going, ooh, I would hate to have to fucking do 45 behind this lunatic tonight. And I heard this guy saying, I'm not scared of nobody. I'll follow anybody in the world. And I had to sit and wait the fucking hour to watch the demolition. And sure enough, she fucking demolished him. And I waited to see him come off stage. And him going, ooh, it was a rough night. He went up there cocky, cursed a couple times up front, said something negative. I saw Nick DiPaolo died behind Beaumont Bacon at the Comedy Store one night. Last time Nick DiPaolo ever walked into the Comedy Store in front of Mitzi Shore. I saw Beaumont Bacon light him up on a Saturday night. It's amazing. Unless you know the power of women, only an idiot would make that statement.
Are you saying, like, do I feel like male comics say that?
No. Every 6 months, some motherfucker, could be male or female, raises their fucking hand and sticks their foot in their fucking mouth. Because that's the worst statement you could fucking make. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know why it's the worst statement you can make, you dumb motherfucker? Because any time of the fucking day in this country, in America, you could turn the TV on, and somewhere, there's an I Love Lucy episode fucking somewhere, okay? I don't know if you've seen the name of that fucking show. It's I Love Lucy. There's nothing else about Ricky or the fucking retarded kid or Ethel Mertz or none of those fucking the fat bald dude. It's fucking Lucy. Now, we all grew up on Lucy at some point of our fucking lives and laughed. You, Lee? You, Sarah?
Yeah,
so
very much.
just for you to make that fucking statement right there. Not to mention what's, I'm talking, comedy has evolved
I grew up on Roseanne.
Roseanne
I learned
Barr.
everything about...
I love everything about Roseanne.
Yeah,
also.
I learned
I'm a Denver
everything.
guy, so
Yeah.
I heard her story, and it's
I was
beautiful.
the same age as Becky on her show, so everything Becky went through, I went through. At the same time.
At the same time,
Yeah.
see?
But yeah.
Every fucking 6 months, some dumb motherfucker, whether it's Jerry Lewis, it's just some dumb motherfucker says something. How do you feel? What do you...
Well, I always feel like I don't necessarily find a lot of women funny either, but statistically, in my mind, there are way more unfunny men out there, and I find way less... I don't find a lot of people funny, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so, like... And I don't feel like I ever have... I definitely have a tough time at shows, you know, because people will be like, oh, it's the girl, we should make her go first or whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, good luck, you know, because there's, 5-6 comics that have to come after me. But I know I can set the tone, and I always am clear to say, like, I'm just here to make a counterpoint. And I think that, like you're saying, like, it is tough for men to follow sometimes because... Women get riled up. They haven't heard. They haven't heard anything.
Nothing in that corner.
They haven't heard anything. They've heard about how much they talk. They heard about how annoying they are.
And how you want to suck their dick. And this, and now they get a woman to speak for them and somebody who hits a vein. I'm not saying all women are going to do that, but a woman's going to come out and hit a vein. Listen, man, I'm a fucking comic, and I'm a piece of shit, and I've done a lot of weird things. And I got to tell you something. I give every comic a benefit of the doubt, but I give women even more benefit of the doubt because a lot of women have made me fucking laugh.
Yeah.
The biggest, my mom was so I understand the comedy of a woman. It's a different quality of comedy. It's a different healing. Unless she goes off the fucking cuff and just says something outrageous like Felicia Michaels about her work foot. That she got ran over by 1 foot when she was a kid, so she doesn't put that foot out when she's fucking. She puts the other foot out, so it's a cute foot. Just shit like that. I think some women have funny fucking shit, and I laugh at.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody makes a statement, I think of the girls coming up, and I think if they take it personally, I wouldn't take it fucking personally. I look at the guy and go, you know what the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you think they get like judged more? Just because, like, if you go to, like, a comedy club in L.A., it's, like, 10 or 15 comics, and maybe there's 1 or 2, so it's kind of shocking to see, it's, like, more noticeable that there's girls. Like, do you think they're just judged because it's, like, there's not as many? And
Well, see, like, for me, I always feel like, to me, there's always a weight on my shoulders when I go out, because I'm usually going to be the only woman that anybody sees that night. So I'm representing all female comics to all of the people in the crowd. So if I do bad, they're like, yep, women are terrible comics. If I do good, they're like, I never think women are funny, but you're pretty good. And that's usually, it's like, there's never really any way to win. But I just always just think, I don't feel like I have an obligation to be, funnier than I can possibly be. I'm just going to go up there and work just as hard as I would any other night. And there are a lot of people who aren't funny, but at the same time, I don't really like it when women complain about it because I feel like it really, like, it's hot, like, it's an advantage if you use it the right way. Like, I believe that, like, being a female comic is an advantage when you're good at it. Like, I'm always the first person people call. And that's because I work my ass off and I do a really good job. And if you worked your ass off and you did a really good job, maybe people would be calling you first, So, no, don't sit there and complain to me that it's just, like, hard and people treat you like shit. They treated me like shit forever, too. But it's the same way at the Comedy Store. Like, I used to do what Chelsea did all the time. I would watch her, and she would just come and be funny and leave. Come, you be funny, and then you leave. And eventually, they'll ask you to stay. Now I can't get them to let me leave.
It's really weird that you're with guys 92% of the time.
Yeah.
You're around guys that are disgusting and vile and say shit, and your skin is tough. And I got to tell you something. 20 years ago, if I would have met you 30 years ago, I would have hit on you all the time. You're like my dream cake.
Aww.
The hair, the Irish, the freckles, the body, the smile, everything. you're... But the thing I really admire about you, the thing why you're sitting here is you've never sold your sexuality to us.
Right.
You've never hit. When I started doing comedy, I was dirty. That means I was selling you the lowest common denominator. I'm not proud of it, but that's what got me through the door. Now I try to write more and explain my life. You see girls who are very pretty, and they sell you their sexuality, and you try to tell them that it's very hard to be comedy over the beauty. With you, you dress down. Mm-hmm. You're very beautiful naturally. You don't sell it. You know, you don't want to sell it, and that's why you're here. I respect that quality of you. That you could have done this a different route.
Yeah, I think it's because I want everybody to laugh. I don't want just some, like I saw that happen when I was coming up. First of all, it's just not in my nature to try to be like sexual because I'm just really kind of awkward about it. Even though I enjoy it, but that's more of a private thing for me. It's not something I like to talk about a lot. But also, like,
no, I'm not talking about on stage. I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, just like day to day, like walking in here.
Some women go on stage and they'll show you cleavage.
Right. What
they don't know is that the women are gonna fucking hate you.
Right.
And the guys can't look past your tits.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. Now the women, you go on stage with that green fucking t-shirt on.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I'm sizing you up as a man. When you get on stage, she's kind of cute. I'm looking at him, I'm like, that bitch is hiding some guns under there. You know what I'm saying? If I had a dog right now, that dog would die. So, for some guys, that's a turn off. For me, it's a turn on. For a guy, I like that. I want you to keep me thinking. Anybody can show me your tits.
Right.
Keep me thinking. And with comedy, there's such a psychological when it's a woman comic. Mm-hmm. Like, you're very intelligent. I've been watching you for 2 years. And you ask Redman. Whenever I talk to Redman, I run him through a list. How's Sarah doing? How's Tony Hinchcliffe doing? How's fucking the black girl doing?
Tiffany.
How'd the rap battle go?
Oh, the roast battle. I won.
Did you?
Yeah.
Do you like Tiffany?
It was a knockout. Sorry.
You get along with Tiffany?
I do. I like her.
Tiffany's a great lady.
She's very nice.
I've known Tiffany a long time.
Yeah.
Tiffany's another one that's a fucking nut, man. But,
yeah.
Listen, man, I'm happy you got on time. I know you got to leave. If not, I could keep you here till 10 o'clock at night.
I know, I know. I have a comedy bowling league.
I know you have to leave and stuff.
How cool I am.
Yeah, anything you want to plug real quick while you're here?
Oh, yeah, I mean, just my Twitter is at Sarah Tiana, Sarah with an H.
Right.
Tiana
any
with
gigs
a
you want to plug that are important? Edinburgh, we got people that listen to this over there.
Yeah, I'll be in Edinburgh in August. I'm in San Diego this weekend at the Madhouse. And then I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Comedy Festival there. June 6th through the 13th, I think.
What festival is that?
Some new comedy festival there. Yeah, I don't know.
They're doing one in Nashville, North Carolina. They're doing them everywhere. I know, they're doing them everywhere.
Yeah, they've really caught on.
Sarah Tiana, I love you. I love that you're
here. I love you too.
I'm one of your biggest fans and stuff. And
I really appreciate that.
This is a special Sunday night edition and shit. I still got to give some shout outs and stuff. If you want to walk down, I'll have Lee walk you down.
No, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I love you more.
I can't believe it took me this long to have you on. Like I said, I mess with you on Twitter, but when you mess with women on Twitter and other people see you messing with them, like, hey, sexy, and like, what the fuck? We can Joey hit on Sarah Tiana. And I don't think I could DM you. I think you broke that fucking option. We don't follow each other. Something. It's so weird how sometimes you go to message somebody, you're like, fuck. Now I got to hit them in public in front of everybody. I don't really want to hit them in front of everybody. Let me get some shout-outs real quick here. Jay Horton, you bad motherfucker. Constantine Rain. Michael Joaquin. Dan Pizzini. Tommy Heater. Kirby McKenzie. I love you, cocksuckers. Thank you for always being here. Also, to our sponsors. You're going to get this Monday morning, March, whatever the fuck. How you doing, Lee?
I'm pretty high.
How's that Chibo? You're looking good, cocksucker.
What are you going to do, May 26th?